Brett Stats Norsworthy.
Good Friday afternoon to you. Another Football Friday, another Grizzlies season opening Friday. I don't know if they've always opened on a Friday night, but they do tonight for the 19th time downtown at FedEx Forum, 16th time at FedEx Forum, 19th time in town as our Memphis Grizzlies. And there's something I want you to do for me today at the First Bank text line, 67129, with it being opening night number 19. Tell me your favorite Grizzlies moment ever in these 18 years we have in the books and beginning number 19. I don't know if many people's favorite moment will come from this year. You never know. You never know. You go to sports often enough, somebody could have that triple-double extraordinaire, could have that three-quarter shot at the buzzer, winner. We don't know, but it doesn't feel like the ultimate Grizzlies moment will come this year, but you never know. But we've had some good ones through the years. I've got in my notes today, there's some lamentable, some regrettable things. That goes with anything, though, doesn't it? With anything you have in life, especially the longer you do it, whether it's your life or any experience you have with the team, the longer you do it. There'll be some things, if you could, you would throw those out. But mostly, haven't the Grizzlies been a force for good in our community? Because I can remember going to all those preseason football games, convinced. I mentioned the other day, I went to the Cowboys Lions, late August 1976, hotter than blue blazes at the Liberty Bowl Stadium. It would make most hot golf tournament days feel very, very mild that night. And it showed it in the crowd. I looked it up not at Football Ref. Football Ref, for as good as it is, it doesn't have a lot of preseason stuff. I had to go to the Cowboys media guide and find that game, and the listed crowd was 30,000. It was totally because of the heat. At kickoff, it was like 105. But I went to all those preseason football games, convinced. And, it was really one of the jive acts all time put on Memphis, really toyed with by the NFL, that we were going to get in. We were never getting in. But a lot of people worked hard, and we tried. But I went to a lot of those games and convinced if we show them this time, if we're full at this one, it's going to show them. If we expand the stadium and we sell it out, we're going to show them. And we didn't get it. And it's why so many people, and I was one of those, when the Pursuit team was first thought of. It's probably why I didn't make the cut that night to Indianapolis, because I was a little bit, not big, I sure wanted it, and go all out and get it. I just had a hard time believing we ever would after all the kind of Charlie Brown football tricks we had played on us by the NFL. And so while I wasn't a Debbie Downer about it, but I almost had to see it to believe it, and then I finally saw it on that opening night in fall of 2001 against the Detroit Pistons at the Pyramid. And now we have the Grizzlies day in, day out as part of the fabric of our sports lives. I can't imagine us now without them. I really can't. Yeah, and not just this, not just day in, day out, 2 and 3 hour per show, and really all day, every day, 24-hour sports talk radio. We did it. I think we made it okay, just fine. He could get a.
Well, I don't know. Y'all didn't know a lot of things back in the day.
Well, true. Yeah, it was some. It was in the days of ties.
I'm the more I do shows with you and Dave, the more I'm learning that y'all kind of just made stuff up on the fly. Y'all didn't really have a game plan.
We definitely did that.
Y'all just did whatever y'all wanted, whether it made sense or not just in sports, but in everything.
And a lot of those shows were very, very emblematic of that. But some days they still are. Don't tell some of the July shows. But now, easy cohesion. Now, I'm going to do the unthinkable today. I know this will get a good reaction. I'm going to give John Calipari some credit. John Calipari was big enough at the time. I don't know that he could have balled up the entire works and prevented the NBA coming to town. I don't know that he could do that. He wasn't that powerful yet. 2 or 3 years later, after they already got here, he might have gotten to that. But he was so for it. And he was an NBA guy. He was fresh from the NBA. so that helped. I don't know how. I mean, he might have had a horrible reaction if it had all been out there. He was trying to stop it, but he quickly recognized this is going to be good for me. This building, these locker rooms, these players coming through town, and I have always really admired the University of Memphis, whatever the hierarchy that made up the University of Memphis at the time and now, for always being a very good partner around town with the Grizzlies and really with everything else, all the other sports too. They never went as tribalistic on things as they probably could have, and to their short-term credit, it probably would have helped them to, and maybe even long-term in some cases, it might have helped them. They never did that. That I think that is very, very commendable. So I want to hear from people today, 67129, as we start year 19 at home. I know the season started on Wednesday night with a pretty ugly loss, pretty ugly fourth quarter. And there's going to be a lot of those this year. It's eyes wide open. We all know that, and we're braced for that. But I want to hear from people at the First Bank text line, 67129. If you want to call about it, I'd love to hear your call. Also at First Bank phone line, 360-8255. Dave will join us about 5:15 or so from Tulsa. If they got out on time, heading basically into the teeth of this bad weather, this front that's moving in, we'll visit with Dave about 5:15 about the Tigers game with so much on the line, with SMU hanging on last night. Yeah, I was one of those that was pulling for SMU last night. Why not? To really set up next week. If it doesn't set up next week, it wasn't. I don't think me pulling against it last night would have affected anything. I don't think the score would have been any different. Me sitting in my humble abode in Forest City pulling against SMU. I don't think
you control the outcome.
I don't think I did either. But for what it's worth, I was pulling for SMU for next weekend. I know y'all talked about it. You and Gabe, great job. Talked a lot about the Chris Fowler Instagram. I think it's been noted, and I don't want to be repetitive and certainly don't want to dote on it, but remember that Chris Fowler is not on game day anymore. He's just on the Saturday night premier game that they like to coordinate due to the high cost of jet fuel and time and trouble for Kirk Herbstreit when they can to coordinate, but they have shown more than a propensity. If they have to, they can spend the jet fuel and get him from Jacksonville to Memphis to do the Saturday night game. Ideally, I think they would like to be promoting at game day, especially this late in the year, something that moves the needle for the Disney Corporation, for ABC, ESPN, doing business as a Saturday night premier game. So a lot of people really excited about that last night. I don't blame you. I am too. But that doesn't mean that game day will be here. It means he might be here for the Saturday night game and game day somewhere else. There just aren't many other places.
But even if game day doesn't come, it's still a huge success to get.
That's a win, Drew.
To get the ABC A team. I mean, when have we ever gotten the A team? We've played on ABC plenty of times, but we've never gotten the A team. Kirk Herbstreit here high atop the Liberty Bowl.
And Chris Fowler and Maria Taylor as the sideline reporter, and she's fantastic. And, Drew, not just the A team, but the A team for a November 2nd game. This is the time of year the A team goes to A games, A-plus games. Now, look, let's don't discount a big part of it. It takes two to tango in any big matchup. SMU's a fantastic story.
Phenomenal
Truly
story.
Back from the dead. I mean, truly dead and buried and fighting back under a, bevy of different coaches through the years and systems and leagues and trying everything they can just to stay, halfway viable. And for a lot of times it wasn't. This week they were 7-0 and they're ranked 16th in the Associated Press poll, 40 votes behind number 15 Texas with 2 losses. That got my attention. And Barrett Jones on Monday mentioned the fact that on the field we saw Georgia and Notre Dame play, didn't we?
We did.
Now, it was close, and it was at Sanford Stadium. It's all that, but we saw a result. And Georgia's 2 spots behind Notre Dame.
That's what happens when you talk about when you get the AP perspective, and you can go on to multiple different websites where you can look up who the AP voters are. I know one website, I think it's called
AP puts it out.
Yeah, they put it out, but there's a website out there, I think it's called pollbreaker.com. Don't quote me on that. It's something around those lines. They've even broken it down
I'm going to quote you.
Okay.
I'm going to quote you.
Quote me. Pollbreaker.com. We'll say it's that.
The foremost hockey expert in the South, Drew Barrett, said that
Pollbreaker.
Pollbreaker. Then I'm going to put your quote in there.
Okay. But they even break it down even further where they can show which exactly where each voter's from, what schools they kind of show bias towards and bias against, like who do they always seem to have ranked higher than anybody else, and they really break it down.
Their favoritism.
So with the AP, you get that favoritism and that bias against, but once we get into the CFP, and we've seen it a lot where UCF is always UCF, Memphis, Houston in the last couple of years have always been ranked higher in the CFP than they were in the AP poll at the time. So that's the real thing, and that's without the biases.
First CFP comes out Tuesday night, November 5th.
Yes.
So we'll look forward to that this weekend in the top 25. Some good games, but Grizzlies opening night. Boy, tonight is that night. We have it all going. Got high school football. We're going to visit with Glenn Rogers about that. Wet ball practice extraordinaire tonight. Take care of the football will be the message du jour across all of high school football in this area tonight. Don't turn it over because it is sloppy. We got high school football. We've got the weekend of the NFL. We got the World Series. Baseball could come to an end this weekend. It could be the end of it. By the time we get back Monday, baseball could be over. NBA opening downtown. And last night, the Tigers by 33 over Christian Brothers. The freak-out meter on James Wiseman, please slow down. I just don't think it's necessary yet. Might get to that point. I'm not at all worried about it. I trust Coach Hardaway and his staff on it mostly being precautionary. If it got into opening night against South Carolina State, then I reserve the right to change my opinion. But right now, I wouldn't freak out over playing CBU or even coming up Monday night against Lemoyne-Owen. Tigers right back at it with their second and final exhibition game on Monday night against Lemoyne-Owen, and then a week from Tuesday night, November 5th, the night of the CFP release, will be the opening game against South Carolina State at FedEx Forum. You were part of the crowd last night. How was it? Fun? Festive?
Enjoyed it.
Glad to be back around?
Very glad to be back at the friendly confines of FedEx Forum. And I think crowd good into it. Slow first start to start the game, like pretty much any college basketball game you go to around this time. Guy that really impressed me was Precious Achiuwa, and I think there's no surprise in that, being as highly rated recruit as he is. And I thought CBU played great for a new head coach, a new system, going away from that Princeton style of basketball that they've been playing in the last 20 years under Coach Mike Nienaber. The fact that they came out and they, in the first half, They made you a little worried a couple times, and it was good to see the Tigers. You do.
That's what CBU fans wanted. It's what Tiger fans want.
You want to see how you're going to react to a little adversity. Obviously, being up by 3 against CBU, it's a lot different of a feel if you were up by 3 against Oregon later this year. But I think you saw a lot of positives. Now, obviously,
later's coming sooner.
It is. It'll be here a lot sooner than we think. But as I had to try to explain to Gabe and him wondering why there's still criticism, still some outrage, I had to welcome him to Memphis Tiger basketball and what it really is about, that it's out of love, but people are going to freak out about everything. You win by 33, should have won by 43. You win by 43, well, I thought you were 50 points plus better. It's just going to be that way, and there's no need, like you said, to get out of whack over James Wiseman, because I think everybody expected him to not play one of these two expedition games.
You hear a lot of times about fandom like that, that high bar, that sometimes you can squeeze them too tight. You can love them too much. I don't buy that at all. Most places would love squeezing me tighter, love me more. Most places are dying for that attention. You want that. You want that passion. Sometimes, yes, like with anything, it can get a little bit off the rails. and sometimes off-putting, but it's mostly out of love. It's mostly out of a desire to finally win it. We were talking more off the air than on it. If the Nationals win 2 more games and they complete this World Series, I wish I would have done the complete homework on this. This 21st century has been as so far now 20 years into it of crowning champions. I guess baseball would be the last one crowned for this second decade of the 21st century. It has been a lot of firsties. I mean, when you think about the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and I don't mean to say that with the derision that it just dripped out, but look, they were that bad for so long. The Saints, the Cubs, they get their first in this. The Capitals get their first in this.
The Red Sox.
The Red Sox finally breaking it. And then they became the evil empire. They got so good in this. The White Sox. I mean, the city of Chicago had thrown as many baseball titles as they had won until the White Sox won it with Shoeless Joe throwing the World Series in the Black Sox scandal. We've had the Astros. We could go on, and I wish I will this weekend. All the different firsties in this 20 years. That's a long time. That's big old sample size. When you hear people say small sample size, 20 is a gigantic sample size.
A long time.
Yeah, I mean, we're marching on in this 21st century thing. But you look around sports and you see the thrill of victory. Virginia got it. Let me get to my point because
Villanova.
No, they got their second one. They won one in the 80s. And they got second and third. So a lot of teams have done it. Of all the teams that are legitimate prospects for it, especially in college football and in college basketball, we have so many more teams. The Tigers are up there at the top. The Tiger basketball really up there at the top. I have said I'm surprised they haven't by now.
With as historic of a program it is, you are shocked that they haven't done it.
And not just with the notable misses 08, 85, but, 07. Make a shot in Oakland against UCLA. Anybody, either side, make many shots. The other one would have won.
That was 06 against UCLA. 07 was Ohio State.
That's correct. Thank you, Drew. Very good. Some of the Keith Lee teams that couldn't get out of first weekend, that if they had, they'd have really caught their stride. They'd hit their stride and maybe won it. The Royals won it back in the 80s too, so that doesn't count as firsty. But the Tiger basketball is one up there that is primo to say. You wouldn't go out there and say, well, Western Kentucky. And I'm going to get in trouble. I'm going to make somebody mad calling their
What
team
are you calling out the Hilltoppers for?
No kidding. I'll do yesterday's guess. Tulsa. Tulsa shouldn't have ever won one.
No.
There's no expectation for them. But Tiger basketball, and it doesn't mean that it's bad that they haven't, but primo, wheelhouse, time for, getting close, you can make that case. And maybe in that beginning of the third decade of the 21st century, the Tigers get theirs in Atlanta. Sure hope so. Today, we will visit with Bruce Marshall at 3:30 to talk the weekend in handicapping and in gambling, college and pro, NFL and college football and NBA. We'll get his thoughts. Great story up at goalsheet.com on the NBA and the predictions for this year. About 3:50, we'll visit with John David Bedour from the Memphis Touchdown Club. Peter Edmiston from this radio station, The Experience, with Peter Edmiston and C.J. Hurt, and The Athletic. Peter will visit with us at 4 like he does each and every Friday. Glenn Rogers in to talk a rainy Friday night of high school football in our area. Rick Harrow on the business of sports at 5. Dave Woloshin hopefully safely arrived in Tulsa by about 5:15. And our First National Bank and Trust Friday football forecast, our picks and conversation about the games this weekend. About 5:30, we wrap it up at 5:45, and then everybody wants to head downtown to FedEx Forum to Grizzlies opening night. They can. This hour brought to you every day by Lexus of Memphis, 2600 Ridgeway, and online at lexusofmemphis.com. Give them a call at 362-8833, Lexus of Memphis, offering the Golden Opportunity Fall Sales Event. Great offers on all 2020 models and special lease options. Drive in luxury and confidence knowing that every new Lexus Comes with complimentary first and second maintenance services. Stop by today at 2600 Ridgeway at Lexus of Memphis and put yourself in the driver's seat of an all-new 2020 flagship LS500, and you will be looking and driving great. Lexus of Memphis, the high standards in the industry. Online at lexusofmemphis.com, 362-8833. Experience amazing at Lexus of Memphis.
Top story of the day.
Well, my top story is what we have mostly talked about. Opening night number 19 in Memphis, 16th at FedEx Forum. And now, can you really imagine not having the Grizzlies part of our sports fabric, part of our business and community fabric? They are. It's not always been great. It's been some tough seasons. It's been some, as I said, some lamentable names and figures in Grizzlies lore like Brian Davis and Christian Laettner, Bonzi Wells and Jason Levian, just to name a few. But hadn't it mostly been fun? Doesn't the good far and away outweigh anything negative? Powell and Mark, Mike and Hubie, Lionel and Mike Heisley, Don Poyer, Shane Battier, James Posey, T.A. Zebo, and hopefully we'll add Ja and Jaren to that list someday. What we cannot have is someday Robert Pera adds his name as the most lamentable, tragic figure in the history of the Memphis Grizzlies. Because if he ever became public enemy number one, don't we know what that means? We don't even want to think about it.
I don't even want to think about it. My top story of the day, yesterday, the 100th season of Memphis men's basketball was unofficially underway with the Expedition game and the 33-point win over Christian Brothers. 100 years of great college basketball here in Hoop City. And while there have been many, many highs and some people think some pretty bad lows, you look at that 100 years of history,
darn
90.
fun.
I bet 90% of college basketball would take it in a heartbeat.
I've been following and a fan of it since 1972. So that's 49 years. Help me with my math. Is that right? No.
I got a journalism degree. I don't do math.
Close enough. 1972, Don Holcomb's senior year, Larry Finch's junior year, Ronnie Robinson's junior year, and the next year was the trip to the Final Four. I know I've had fun following it and watching it. It's been great.
Not top story of the day.
Everybody slow down on the James Wiseman speculation. Tigers won by 33. Why risk anything? 5.5 months before the Final Four. Why show or risk anything? Hot take artists, slow down. You'll have plenty to dream up without this. I know you will. I know you're working overtime. You might see something on the floor that irritates you that only you see in your sick and twisted minds. Let's just slow down.
Which I never saw until somebody pointed it out.
I didn't see it after they pointed it out. I see pretty well, especially with my glasses. You got a not top story?
I do. My not top story of the day, the Kansas City Chiefs have decided that Patrick Mahomes needed at least one game of recovery after his knee injury where he dislocated his knee on October 17th against the Denver Broncos. This is my not top story because no kidding, he needs a week. I mean, the man dislocated his knee less than a week ago, and he's expected to go out there and play. I think we can give the last year's MVP a 1 week off. I don't think that's too much to ask. And like, why did people actually expect for him to come back? Like, give the man time to rest.
Give him some time to rest for sure. We will talk World Series tonight in Washington, D.C. Everybody, have you heard how often our 1933, last time the World Series game, we first found that, 3 weeks ago?
I'm going to say 3 weeks ago.
At least 3 weeks ago. Everybody, first World Series game played in the District of Columbia since 1933. I don't blame them because it's been that long. It'll be that fun tonight in Washington. It'll be cold in Washington, too. Game number 3 tonight for the Nationals and for the Astros with Grizzlies playing downtown at FedEx Forum. You're listening to Sports Time on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56, 87.7 and 96.1.
Take Sports 56 with you on your phone or tablet. Download our official Sports 56 app today.
It's back. The Carhartt Crazy Sale at Frontier Western Store in Olive Branch. Visit Frontier this month for huge markdowns on clearance Carhartt items. The latest fall line just launched also, and Frontier is fully stocked. We've got jeans, shirts, bib, overalls, jackets, coats, gloves, belts, boots, and more. And to make room for all the new items, we've discounted a number of short-sleeve plaids and T-shirts. Save up to 50%. All Carhartt jeans are now $5 off. This is the last jean sale of the year, so stock up now for yourself or for someone else for the upcoming holidays. Christmas will be here before you know it, so you might as well save some cash now on what you know you'll need. Also this month, we are including a buy one, get one half-price sale on all novelty T-shirts by Simply Southern, Girly Girl, Live Oak, and more. It's the Carhartt Crazy Sale and more at Frontier Western Store, 5880 Goodman Road in Olive Branch, and on the web at frontierwesternstore.com. Family owned and operated since 1967.
Hi, this is Troy Five-Ash, owner of Five-Ash Roofing. It is that time of year where the weather is unpredictable, and given the recent storms, it's a good time to discuss insurance claims. So here's a few things you should know. Always hire a local contractor, because if you have a problem with your roof down the road, you want to be able to find him. Never allow anyone to pressure you into signing a contingency contract. They're used as sales tools, making you feel committed, and the truth is, those contracts are not worth the paper they're written on. Be careful of door-knocking salesmen. Some are reputable, but many are not. They canvass the neighborhood and tell everyone to file a claim, working the percentages and not caring if you file a claim even when they know the likelihood of it being approved is low. Some will even damage your roof, hoping to convince the adjuster it's storm damage. That's fraud, and contractors have gone to jail for that. So do your research and know who you're hiring. Five-Ash Roofing, the official roof of the University of Memphis Athletic Department. Fair, honest, and ethical. 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com.
Five-Ash Roofing, it's what we do. We're here for you.
In today's evolving workplace, XMC understands the process of getting office work done has moved from the desktop to your pocket. The new Xerox multifunctional printers and Connect Key app technology are game changers. Are you working with confidential information? Does it need to be secure from unwanted threats? Do you need to translate documents to another language? Xerox's App Gallery provides solutions like secure printing and easy translator technology. XMC is the second largest exclusive Xerox agent in the U.S. with 9 locations to serve you. We've been in business for over 25 years and have received top awards from Xerox. In changing our world one experience at a time, our team's committed to doing what's right for your business. XMC is proud to be your leader in document and print management, and it'd be our pleasure to serve you. Contact XMC today at 888-814-3114 or visit our website at xmcinc.com. XMC, Excellence in Office Solutions.
Hey everybody, this is Coach Penny Hardaway. There's a comfort in being home, and to me, comfort food and family makes Memphis the place to be, along with having the best basketball fans in America. I like pulling into Corky's and getting one of their family party packs. How can you go wrong with pork, beans, slaw, sauce, and buns for only $5.99 a person? It is so easy. I can call ahead, order online, or just pop in. Tailgating can't get any easier. Tell them Penny sent you.
Encore flavor, Corky's barbecue.
Got something you want to get off your chest?
You better have a backup plan.
Want to join the conversation?
Someone needs to tell him he has to grow up.
Join us on the First Bank phone lines at 360-8255 or the First Bank text line at 67129. Now, back to Sports Time with Wolo and Stats. This hour of Sports Time is brought to you by Lexus of Memphis. Here once again are Dave Woloshin and Brett Norsworthy.
360-8255. If you'd like to join us at the First Bank phone line, 67129 at the First Bank text line. First Bank, all the First Bank bankers all have deep Memphis roots in banking and business experience and expertise. Visit firstbankonline.com. First Bank, they know what you need. A reliable, trustworthy Memphis banker that can give you an answer about your business and your life right here in Memphis. They make the decisions for Memphis right here in Memphis, not in Birmingham, not in Nashville, not in Knoxville, not in Atlanta. All the decisions about you are made right here in Memphis with First Bank, a direct answer from the First Bank banker you're dealing with. First Bank has stories and a record of customers reaching high. Community banks are the preferred lender of people building a success story. Build your success story with First Bank. Visit firstbankonline.com. That's firstbankonline.com. To talk the weekend of odds with us, Bruce Marshall from the Gold Sheet. He joins us now, and a torrid start to the year, a little bit derailed last week, but Bruce, we're going to get them this week, aren't we? Good afternoon.
Oh yeah, it looks like a good weekend. If it stops raining down in the south, there, it looks like you got some weather to worry about down there, so we'll see what goes.
Let's start with the big one. I know you were probably visiting with the guys down in Baton Rouge about it. LSU plays host to Auburn, Tigers against Tigers in Tiger Stadium, and what a home field advantage game this has been. A pretty big spot here for LSU, favored over Auburn, favored 10.5 points. What's the goal sheet think about this big matchup down in Baton Rouge?
Yeah, they're all worried about to go indoors or put an umbrella up or something, but it might clear up by game time tomorrow. We'll see. I think Auburn's in a little trouble here. LSU, Coach O has gotten Auburn. He's gotten Gus the last 2 years. And 2 years ago, it was the punt return late. And last year, it was the last second field goal. So a couple upset wins for Coach O over Gus. Now he's got this offense going for him. And I don't know how Auburn, for Gus's offense to work best, they've got to be able to run the ball. I'm not sure that's going to be so easy against LSU, which is only allowing 93 yards per game on the ground. That's a little deceiving because teams often get behind LSU and they just abandon the run. But still, there's a lot of quicks, and they cover ground really quick. They really close in the secondary. So if Bo Nix is throwing from behind here, this is really risky stuff, I think, for Auburn this week. So we'll see if they fall behind, if they can come back. By the way, Heisman Trophy betting right now, a lot of places Joe Burrow's the favorite. I mean, who would have thought that before the year? It's actually Burrow and Jalen Hurts are pretty far ahead of everybody else, including Tua. So those are your top two Heisman guys as we getting ready to hit the end of October. So that's an interesting development. 45-26, we're taking LSU. We might back up that score a little bit if it's going to be raining tomorrow in Baton Rouge. But we're taking LSU nonetheless.
Goal sheet says LSU Tigers over Auburn Tigers. This game, again, marked by home field dominance and really close games a lot of times lately. Not a close one tomorrow. Who do you think's the best team in the country, Bruce?
Might be LSU. At this point, I wouldn't argue that. There's some people who think Ohio State is too, and I'm going to hold off on that. We'll see. I will just say one note here. If Ohio State and Clemson and Oklahoma keep winning, and Oklahoma's going to have some challenges coming up, by the way, Big 12. You got Alabama and LSU, the loser of that game. Be careful here because, at the end, if those other three keep winning, you hate to think one of those, Alabama or LSU with one loss, might be knocked out of the Final Four if my forecasts go the way I'm thinking here. But it might happen, or you keep one of those teams with 0 losses out, and then you got the controversy of all time. So keep an eye on this stuff. It's kind of interesting.
Now, when they all signed up, they knew one of the Power 5 conferences, at least one, would get left out every year. Bill Hancock always reminds us of that. Ohio State, 14.5-point favorite over Wisconsin. Wisconsin coming off the loss in Champaign-Urbana to Lovie Smith. What's the goal sheet like in that game?
Yeah, Brad, this game lost a little bit of a luster because of that result last week, which was a true shocker. This is the early Fox game tomorrow, which means Gus Johnson and the Gus Johnson effect. They were counting on that in Wisconsin. That helps the underdogs when Gus is calling the game. So I'm not sure what that will mean tomorrow, but Wisconsin might need some help. I'm going to bank, though, that this number is still a little bit high. Now, maybe Ohio State's just going to run roughshod over everybody. I want to see Ohio State, how it reacts when it is in a little bit of a scrap, when it has to blink. It's one thing when you go and just knock out everybody in the first round like they've been doing. Let's see when they get in a little bit of a scrap here, and this might be the week. Wisconsin's defense is very functional still. I know that didn't work last week. They had looked great up until then. If you subscribe to the look-ahead theory, that was it last week. They can run with Taylor. They've got a quarterback completing better than 76% of his passes in Cone. They've got a good record as an underdog. They're 11-1 against the spread after their last 12 losses. They've got a solid, sound football coach in Paul Chryst. I think there's enough evidence there to give Wisconsin a vote here. 30-24 Ohio State or score forecast. Although, in the back of my mind, I'm wondering if Ohio State really is this good and they boat race the Badgers, we got to start thinking about maybe a different number one in the country because that would be pretty impressive. But until then, we're going to take the point.
Wisconsin plus all those points, 14.5 of them to cover but not win the game. One more national game, and then we'll go to the Tigers game and a few more SEC games. Bruce Marshall from the Goal Sheet with us, and he's off to a great start to this year picking games, college and pro. Fantastic pro record, but a really good college one as well. Michigan tomorrow night game at the Big House, 6:30 kickoff Central Time, hosting Notre Dame. Pick them. It sounds easy. Just pick the winner, Bruce.
Yeah, well, sounds easy. I don't know. Here, this is going to be. They're all tough, though. I mean, just tuck this little note in the back of our minds right now. I mean, Jim Harbaugh is only signed through next year at Michigan, and usually a high-profile coach to a high-profile program, I mean, is signed for more than the following year. Even Clay Helton is. So, I mean, there's something going to happen here at Michigan, I think. And if Harbaugh loses tomorrow, he's still got Michigan State and Ohio State to come. Games have been really tough for him the last few years. I mean, 8-4, 7-5. He ain't coming back next year. What if he leaves or they push him out? Whatever. So he's really, we'll see. This is sort of his last chance to salvage something. I think they might, because that offense seemed to perk up last week late in the game when it looked like they were going to get drilled by Penn State. They made a game of it. Maybe Harbaugh's taking his hands off the wheel a bit and letting his assistants run the show and letting Patterson do some things offensively. I am still not sure how good Notre Dame is. One other note, among one-loss teams, Notre Dame is lurking here. If you get a couple losses by these unbeaten, there's Notre Dame sitting there again. Only that loss to Georgia. It's not a bad loss. Happened early enough. The schedule's breaking really well. So for people who don't want Notre Dame to even be close to the Final Four or get a whiff of it, you better hope for Michigan to win tomorrow. 24-16, we're going to give Harbaugh one more shot. They do get this game at home. I know he's had trouble against ranked teams, but this one's at home, a team I think he can beat. If they can't, look out. Notre Dame's still in the mix for the Final Four, and Harbaugh's days, I think, are numbered in that harbor.
Gold Sheet takes Michigan, pick the winner. They pick the Wolverines. Okay, Tigers in Tulsa, 6 o'clock kickoff. Everybody just anxious with anticipation for the SMU game next week. Some still looking back to last week in the big Tulane win, the classic game that you could be looking ahead and looking back and be in trouble. Memphis, a 10.5-point favorite over Tulsa.
Yeah, this is a little sandwich here. Memphis looked really good. I mean, I was wrong last week. Make sure Dave knows we're voting for Memphis this week.
I will.
Just so he knows. We don't have anything against the Tigers. That was very impressive last week. Philip Montgomery's in a little trouble at Tulsa. I mean, it has not gone well for him the last couple of years, and they are not running the football the way his first couple teams were for the Golden Hurricane. And that's been a problem for Tulsa, just balancing out this offense. And I think Memphis goes in there and wins, although we're a little bit concerned about that, the scheduling thing here. But Tulsa's not scoring enough points. They're barely scoring 21 per game. Again, they're way down from where they were a few years ago. And I think Memphis gets them. Last year was 47-21, the year before 41-14. So it'd be a similar sort of score, maybe not quite as high, but 38-21 Memphis, our score forecast here. We will take the Tigers this week.
Tigers get there and get there easily according to the Gold Sheet. In the SEC, 2 big local games, 2 elimination games, 2 very much crossroads games. Mississippi State at Texas A&M, 11 o'clock in College Station. A&M a 10.5-point favorite. I saw them last weekend. I give all due credit to the winner. Wasn't impressed by them, though. It was there for Ole Miss to win. They didn't. A&M got the win. Congratulations. I don't think they're a great team. Mississippi State struggling with quarterback play, struggling with offensive line play. A&M 10.5-point favorite over the Bullies.
Yeah, maybe Mississippi State's just going to keep going down. That might have been their last gasp. They played 2.5 quarters of really good football against LSU, and then they just kind of lost touch, which can happen against LSU. But you're right, they're not scoring a lot of points. 13 last week, 10 the week before. That's the one that really bothers me. Tennessee game. The problem with A&M laying points, they're minus 11 in turnover margin. You saw them up close last week. I mean, that was a bitter non-cover for Ole Miss. We had that thing almost the whole way, and then kicked the field goal, which was the right move at the end there, but still tough one to lose. But I'd take Ole Miss again against A&M. I think we're going to give Mississippi State a shot here because Jimbo's team, like you said, minus 11 in turnovers. They're just they don't have the look of a team that's going to extend the margin. 24-17 score forecast here for A&M. Hey, they didn't hire Jimbo to go to the Belk Bowl and Music City Bowl. That's where they're going to head to one of those sorts of bowls this year, and that's going to ratchet up the pressure on Jimbo come next year, I think.
You take State plus the points. Who wins the game? I'm sorry.
We had a 24-17 A&M, same score we had with the Ole Miss game last week.
Okay. Another one local, Tennessee, almost in the same predicament. They need wins. They play against South Carolina. At home, South Carolina, a 4.5-point favorite at Neyland Stadium against the Vols.
Yeah, so we, taking South Carolina here, that was kind of a tough loss for the Gamecocks last week. They were playing pretty well in that game, and they had a shot at Florida, leading the game in the fourth quarter, and then it all kind of fell apart for them. So, we'll see what goes here. It looks like Guarantano might be back in there. Hilinski did not have to miss an extra game there because of the knee. He was back in there firing the ball downfield for South Carolina last week. I think they've shown a little bit more. Tennessee aside, from the Mississippi State game, we know Mississippi State's problems, has not really opened our eyes all that much. I still think Jeremy Pruitt's got a long way to go there, and Will's a lot further along, and wherever South Carolina is going to get, they're just ahead of the curve here on Tennessee. So we'll take Will. 31-23, South Carolina. We'll take the Gamecocks, not our favorite side of the week, but we will side South Carolina in this one.
South Carolina with the road win and the road cover over Tennessee. One more from the SEC, then we'll get a favorite college game. Then we'll move to Sunday in the National Football League. Alabama, 31.5-point favorite. Mac Jones in at quarterback. Tua injured. Arkansas can't do anything right. Arkansas, heavy underdog. They were proud of covering the 34.5 last year. Will they be proud of it at Bryant-Denny Stadium Saturday night?
Well, it's a chance. I mean, Mac Jones isn't Tua. He's not bad. 20 of 32 last week, but they weren't close to covering that number against Tennessee. Nick is not prioritizing covering these numbers here this year, it looks like. So this might be enough room, but I still wouldn't take Arkansas. This team, listen, Chad Morris doesn't have an SEC win yet. Now, we'll deal with that at the end of the season, but this is getting a little bit alarming. They're not going to get that win here. We're still not sure if it's Starkel or Hicks in there at quarterback. But I think you or I could be in there with Alabama at quarterback, and they could probably win this game comfortably. We had it 49-10 Alabama. That is not among our top-tier picks this week. There's some factors going on, but I think Arkansas is just a really hard sell, and that was just showed nothing last week against Auburn, a game you thought Arkansas might at least show up.
Just showed nothing last week. Do you have a favorite college game that we haven't discussed that you want to give our listeners?
Way under the radar, our old friend Jim McElwain is actually doing a pretty good job at Central Michigan. Check it out. 6 straight spread covers for the Chips. They're going to get to a minor bowl game. We'll be watching them in ESPN Bowl Week somewhere. One of those MAC teams shows up. Buffalo is a slight favorite. Buffalo's down this year. The offense is poor, quarterback play lacking. They needed 2 defensive touchdowns to get over the number against Akron last week, which is terrible. Let's take Central Michigan. The Chippewas up there. They can win this thing outright. Chippewas bet Buffalo, and McElwain had to give him 7 straight point spread covers. This team's pretty hot against the spread.
Central Michigan takes the win and the money against Buffalo. NFL on Sunday, noontime, Titans hosting Tampa Bay. Titans won a game last week in about the craziest style you can win it in. 2.5-point favorites. They are in some narrow games, aren't they?
Yeah, boy, they are. Boy, that was a bizarre ending last week, especially for those of us who had the Chargers. Tannehill, though, looks a little better. Than Mariota. At least we'll throw the ball downfield. Pretty good effort last week. Tampa Bay is a hard team to predict because they've been back and forth. They've had a really brutal travel schedule here. They did get the week off to be in the repair shop last week. Jameis's psyche needs to be repaired really quick by Bruce Arians, or he could be going the way of Mariota pretty soon. We're going to give Tampa Bay one shot off the bye here, and I'm out there kind of alone on this pick, but that's what I like here. 27-24 Tampa Bay. I think they can go into Tennessee and win, and I'll hold my breath on that one.
Buccaneers win and cover. 2 more NFL games quickly. Bruce, I want to ask about 2 coaches that I think, one's clearly the coach of the year so far, and the other one I think is the next best job, and that is Frank Reich with the Indianapolis Colts. Colts 5.5-point favorites at home against the Broncos. The Peyton Manning Bowl, Colts and the Broncos.
Yeah, boy, Joe Flacco looking like a crash dummy out there last week. And John Elway, he's going full Floyd Patterson these days. Fake beard and sunglasses. Every move he's making is working poorly. And the Colts are really going good. 24-13 Indy. Other note here, Denver is under 14-2 its last 16 games. This number's about 43 on the total, so I'd look under again in that one.
Indianapolis and the under. The coach of the year, I think, is clearly Sean Payton. They are a 10.5-point favorite at home last week without Drew Brees. Teddy Bridgewater has done a more than a commendable job. He's done a great job. They're heavy favorites over Kyler Murray and the Arizona Cardinals at home in New Orleans on Sunday at noon.
Yeah, give Kingsbury some credit. They won 3 in a row, although the teams they've beaten are combined 3-18. And you can only play who they put in front of you, so at least they're showing some progress. But the Saints have shown that they can take care of business The defense is there. Teddy's been fine. I mean, Breeze is talking about maybe coming back on Sunday. I think Sean Payton would rather have him wait. There's a bye week, and then the Falcons after that. Nobody expected the Saints to be sitting maybe 7-1 here when Breeze comes back. But if they win this game, that's what the case is going to be. Hats off to Bridgewater and Sean Payton. 40-21 Saints. Gold sheet key release Sunday.
Gold sheet key release. Do you have any other one other favorite NFL game we haven't discussed?
I'm going to take the Chiefs with Matt Moore on Sunday night against the Packers, and one more for a bonus, the Steelers on Monday night. They're very underrated. I know it's a big boatload of points, but I think they will hammer the Dolphins. And it is a boatload of points. Will not be a great game to watch Monday night. Steelers laying the 13.5, and the Chiefs on Sunday night in a rematch of Super Bowl I, Bruce. The Chiefs getting 3.5. You're calling it straight up for the Chiefs. Tell our listeners how to access more information from the Gold Sheet. Yes, and the only Super Bowl I've attended in person was Super Bowl I. So there you go. Check us out online, goldsheet.com. It is basketball season 2, basketball issue 2. We got college hoops coming up in the next week's issue. Can you believe that? Plus all the football or NFL LTS 38-17 this season. So check us out online, goldsheet.com. My picks there, also Vegas Insider, DonBest.com. And by the way, I was just in 3rd grade for Super Bowl I. Very nice, Bruce, and congratulations on the latest edition, the newest grandchild. Just lovable. Thank you. Very nice. Number 5. You got it. We'll talk next Friday, Bruce. Thank you. Thank you. Bruce Marshall with the Gold Sheet with us every Friday, and he has some great picks. I want to tell you about Williams Equipment Supply. They're your homegrown, locally owned, and number 1 in compact construction equipment company in our area. They've represented the Bobcat Company for 50 years. Bobcat is the industry leader in compact loaders and excavators. Support American manufacturing, buy, lease, or rent Bobcat equipment. Williams Equipment Supply, the largest compact equipment dealer in the Mid-South with 9 great and easily accessible locations. They have the largest inventory of equipment, attachments, and parts, the largest compact rental fleet, the best technicians, and the most locations. Experience the pride Bobcat owners have of owning the number 1 brand of compact equipment. Whether you buy, lease, or rent, Williams Equipment has the equipment you need at a price that you can afford. For a demonstration or more details, call Cody Bumpus, your North Mississippi Bobcat specialist. Cody Bumpus' cell is 901-508-8739. And in Memphis, the Bobcat specialist is Sam Watson. Sam's cell is 901-326-6429. Support American manufacturing, buy, lease, or rent Bobcat equipment, and you can do it at Williams Equipment Supply, the largest compact equipment dealer in the Mid-South with 9 locations. We come back, we talk the Memphis Touchdown Club. They had a very successful event last Monday night at the Butcher Shop with Coach Matt Luke from Ole Miss. We do that next with John David Bedour. We do it on Sports Time with Wolo and Stats on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56, 87.7, and 96.1.
The Peter Edmiston Experience with C.J. Hurt. Weekday mornings from 7 to 10. Only on Sports 56, 96.1, and 87.7.
Hi, this is John Conway with Conway Services. Did you pay a big repair bill on your existing heating and air conditioning system this year? Is your energy-guzzling heating and air conditioning system on its last leg and you think it's worth nothing? Good news, it's buyback days at Conway Services. We'll buy back your repair bill this year up to $1,500 toward the purchase of select Carrier Infinity systems. That's right, we'll buy back your repair bill up to $1,500, even if we didn't do the repair. Just show us your repair receipt from any company and we'll buy your repair back. If you didn't have a repair bill this year, we'll give you up to $1,500 trade-in on that old energy-guzzling system toward the purchase of select Carrier Infinity systems. When air conditioners get old and inefficient, the cost of repairs and high utility costs could almost pay for a new system. So call Conway Services, the Mid-South's premier heating, cooling, plumbing, and electric service company at 384-3511. And the first 30 callers with a 10-year-old heating and air conditioning system will come out and inspect it absolutely free.
Call 384-3511. Conway Services. Call Conway today.
I want to invite you to come by the Spirit Shop. You know, that little log cabin on Poplar, your liquor and wine oasis. The Spirit Shop has been providing sports fans their beverage needs since way back in 1969. So come in now and get ready for the big game. Whether your favorite team wins or loses, the Spirit Shop will help you celebrate or ease that pain away. The Spirit Shop is open every day, and they're located perfectly at 4848 Poplar. That's the corner of Poplar and St. Nick.
Bartlett Small Engine has been serving quality power equipment since 1970. They have a full line of power equipment, parts, and services for most makes and models. Bartlett Small Engines has the best brands in the power tool industry: Honda mowers, trimmers, and generators, Steel blowers, trimmers, and chainsaws, Echo trimmers, blowers, and chainsaws, plus quality products from Red Mat and Shindawa. And they're all American made. Bartlett Small Engine is your can-do store. 6780 Summer Avenue. Call 901-386-9779.
There's a new commissary in town in Collierville. Germantown Commissary is doubling. Yeah, they're still going to have the old Germantown Commissary by the tracks, but now there's a huge new Germantown Commissary in Collierville at Poplar and Houston Levy Road. It's huge, too. There's a drive-through. There's plenty of parking. No telephone pole to get in your way. A cool patio. It's right by the track, so the tradition continues. And this is a tradition that's been around forever. That commissary is famous for hickory-smoked, slow-cooked Memphis-style barbecue. They've got a private party room at the new one in Collierville. Self-catering still continues. Party packs for $5.95. Basically, the great ribs, the great pulled shoulder, the great deviled eggs. Everything is there in Collierville and Germantown now. So there is now a Germantown and Collierville style of barbecue. It's called Germantown Commissary.
Hi, folks. Good news for bargain hunters and bandits from the Chevy Sheriff in Collierville. Sunrise Chevy has over 500 Chevys and used cars in stock just in time for the Sunrise Low Price Rodeo. Factory rebates up to $5,000, Sunrise discounts high as $8,000, and don't forget, Sunrise specializes in secondary financing. Need a good body shop? Bring it to Sunrise. We work on all makes and models. Remember, you can bring your Chevy to Sunrise for service no matter where you bought. Buy American and buy from Sunrise. There's always a sale at the Sunrise Chevy Ranch. Find new roads to 385 in Houston Levy and Collierville. Chevys cost less at Sunrise, partner.
Now, back to Sports Time with Wolo and Stats. This hour of Sports Time is brought to you by Lexus of Memphis. Here once again are Dave Woloshin and Brad Norsworthy.
We like to party.
We're live, we're local, 360-8255 at the First Bank phone line, 67129 at the First Bank text line. Grizzlies opening night tonight, Tigers in Tulsa tomorrow night in Tulsa. Dave will join us from there when he safely arrives. He'll join us about 5:15. We visit with John David Bedour at this time every Friday from the Memphis Touchdown Club. Fantastic meeting y'all had last Monday night. Dave was there. I'm sorry I couldn't make it, John David. Dave was there, said it was just terrific at the butcher shop, and I know on November 4th, the Bullies, the Maroons, the Mississippi State Bulldog fans will have to get out and top that Ole Miss crowd from last week. How are you, John David?
I'm doing great. We did have a good meeting at the butcher shop with Matt Luke. He did a great job and great food. But now we're back at the Hilton. We'll be ringing the cowbells on Monday week, November the 4th, with Joe Moorhead.
And that should be fun. And Joe Moorhead, look, he's in a predicament like a lot of us in the SEC West. It's tough sledding. He needs a win and he needs support. And the local Mississippi State fans can get out and support him at the Hilton Memphis on Monday night, November 4th. You can go to memphistdclub.com if you would like to find
TDCmemphis.com.
I'm sorry, TDC, and find out more information.
TDCmemphis.com.
You can even buy your ticket there, can't you, John David?
Absolutely. Go to plans and pricing. It's $40. You can go out there, and it'll take you right to PayPal. You can pay through PayPal or through a credit card. Do it all online. Takes about a minute and a half.
And if people decide to go at the last second that Monday night, can they pay at the door?
They can, but we need to kind of know in advance if you're coming. So you can RSVP on there, or you can call anybody on the board. The numbers are on the website too.
And after Coach Moorhead, what's the balance of the season look like from the speakers?
November the 11th, we've got Jeremy Pruitt coming in, which I think will be a huge night. November 25th, Barton Simmons talking about, he's the national director of scouting for 24/7. He's the guy that picks the top 100 players in the country. He knows everything that's going on. And with the early sign of data and recruiting, it's being very critical on what's happening to right now.
It sure is. And you can find out all that information at tdcmemphis.com. Joe Moorhead coming up November 4th, and then Jeremy Pruitt, then Barton Simmons. And Barton is a great frequent guest of ours on this show. Will you have AutoZone Liberty Bowl as we approach the bowl season?
We will have the meeting if the coaches can come in town. And we're also going to have an Alabama meeting. We don't know if Coach Saban will come. We certainly hope so, but that will probably be in the week of December the 9th.
And that will be after the SEC championship, so you'll know exactly where Alabama's going at that time. John David, thank you for being with us again today, and I'm glad you had a great meeting with Coach Luke, and you will with Coach Joe Moorhead. I think Matt Luke and Joe Moorhead personalities are a lot alike, and it's very charming, and they're very likable.
You know, Stats, I think that game, the Egg Bowl, I think, this is my opinion only, the winner comes to the AutoZone Liberty Bowl.
Boy, I hope you're right. Either way, for the Liberty Bowl game, you know, I've got a preference in that one. I would take it right now, but I got to get another two somewhere, and Mississippi State's got to take care of business. John David Bedour, thank you for your time.
Thank you.
You got it. John David Bedour with us on Friday talking the Touchdown Club, and again, you can go to TDC Club. That's TDCMemphis.com. TDCMemphis.com for all the information about Joe Moorhead and future events. One including Jeremy Pruitt in a few weeks in Tennessee. They're in that predicament tomorrow. Like a lot of teams, it's the time of year that you got to win games. And it feels must win for State, A&M in that game tomorrow, in Tennessee or in South Carolina as well tomorrow in the SEC. And then when Ole Miss gets back into action next week down at Auburn, more likely a win against New Mexico State. But it's that time of year you got to win if you're going to get to bowl games. I'm not much on going to the bowl if you just qualify through the APR. I'll take it, but if you can't get to 6, do you really need to be going to a bowl game? I say that now. I'll say it at the time too, but we'll see who gets in, and we'll see who the SEC rep, if there will be one from the SEC in the AutoZone Liberty Bowl on New Year's Eve afternoon. Hour 1 in the books. When we come back, Peter Edmiston starts the hour 2 with us talking Grizzlies home opener tonight. You're listening to Sports Time with Wolo and Stats on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56, 87.7 and 96.1.
I love successes in business. 20 years ago, a guy named Matt Eflin decided when he graduated from the University of Memphis, he was going to get into the insurance business. And man, did he ever get into it. Now, he's got several offices around the area, all to protect you. The main one is in Bartlett, 8099 Stage Hills Boulevard. And the reason Matt is so successful, he's very young, but he's been so successful because he has a unique approach. He tries to have a one-on-one evaluation with each individual to check out their insurance needs. And he specializes in all types of insurance, personal insurance, business insurance. Basically, he sits you down and he asks you whether it's a business or whether it's your home, your family, what's the most important thing you want to protect? And then he figures out your options, collaborates with you, and voila, you're protected. 901-757-2315. That's the Eflin Insurance Group.
Hi, this is Troy Fibash, owner of Fibash Roofing. It is that time of year where the weather is unpredictable, and given the recent storms, it's a good time to discuss insurance claims. So here's a few things you should know. Always hire a local contractor, because if you have a problem with your roof down the road, you want to be able to find him. Never allow anyone to pressure you into signing a contingency contract. They're used as sales tools, making you feel committed, and the truth is, those contracts are not worth the paper they're written on. Be careful of door-knocking salesmen. Some are reputable, but many are not. They canvass the neighborhood and tell everyone to file a claim, working their percentages and not caring if you file a claim even when they know the likelihood of it being approved is low. Some will even damage your roof hoping to convince the adjuster it's storm damage. That's fraud, and contractors have gone to jail for that. So do your research and know who you're hiring. Fibash Roofing, the official roof of the University of Memphis Athletic Department. Fair, honest, and ethical. 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com.
Fibash Roofing, it's what we do. We're here for you.
Check it out.
What, this is Sweetgrass?
I know, isn't it great?
Look at the giant bar and those TVs.
They've made a few improvements.
This is amazing. I thought Sweetgrass was perfect, but this is even better. Now I know why we haven't been to Sweetgrass in almost a week. I thought that was strange.
Yep, they've been busy making the atmosphere here at Sweetgrass even friendlier. And now you can catch a game here too.
The menu?
Still great food prepared by great chefs. Now it's just even more relaxed.
Just when I thought I couldn't love Sweetgrass more, they proved me wrong.
This is Jason Mott. Join me November 9th downtown at the Column for our 8th annual Jason Mott Foundation Cornhole Challenge. Doors open at 6. For tickets and more information, click the events tab at jasonmottfoundation.org. Looking forward to seeing you out there, and let's strike out cancer.
We are Sports 56 WHBQ Memphis, WIVG-FM Tunica Memphis, and WPG-FLP Memphis, Flynn Broadcasting Stations. Now, more of Sports Time with Wolo and Stats. This hour of Sports Time is brought to you by Homer Skelton Hyundai. Here once again are Dave Woloshin and Brad Norsworthy.
The first of 41 home games at FedEx Forum is tonight against the Chicago Bulls. Michael Jordan's not walking through that door. Scottie Pippen's not either, but the Bulls will be here. Thaddeus Young will be. Memphian, hometown product. He'll be here tonight, and he'll be opposing the Grizzlies tonight for the Chicago Bulls. Grizzlies and Bulls tonight at 7 o'clock at FedEx Forum to talk about that and all other things from the experience in the morning with C.J. Hurt. Peter Edmondson joins us now, also with The Athletic. We are into the second game of 82 and the first of 41 at FedEx Forum. Peter, good afternoon.
Good afternoon on a beautiful Friday.
It is a rain-soaked Friday.
Jeez. Yeah, it's going to be a nasty one for all the high schoolers out there. I'll be on the call. I won't be down at FedEx Forum tonight. I'll be on the call of the Germantown Whitehaven game down at Whitehaven. We'll see. Whitehaven is such a talented group, but everyone is just going to be in the slop tonight. I mean, if you don't have turf, it is just going to be a big mud puddle out there right now. So good luck, everybody.
A great playing surface at Whitehaven and legendary stadium, legendary community. It's fun to go. I went last August, like the opening weekend, the day they have the triple header,
Mm-hmm.
I only went to 2 of the 3 on the hottest day of 2018 last year.
Ooh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, right around that first week, the jamborees and that's usually about 110 heat index, and it was miserable.
It was a steamer. Tonight at FedEx Forum, the Grizzlies trying to get a win. This is a winnable game, isn't it?
It is a winnable game. It's a little too early yet to know exactly, apart from the teams that are going to be extremely good, like the teams like the Clippers and all that, or teams that are really, really bad, like the Grizzlies or the Cavs. It's that middle ground. You don't quite know just exactly how it's all going to shake out. And the Bulls are somewhere in there where they're not going to be a champion. But they've got some talented players, and they got a combination of unlucky and just executed poorly in their opener against Charlotte, losing by 1 to a team that's probably not going to be very good. So I don't think they're as bad as that game indicated, and then they certainly do have a number of players that can cause problems for the Grizzlies.
Who do you think has the bigger rebuild, the Bulls or the Grizzlies?
The Grizzlies have the bigger rebuild just from where they're starting from. I mean, from a pure talent standpoint, I think you'd say the Bulls are maybe in a little better position just with regard to, some of the guys that they've got that are at least, serviceable or more than serviceable. For example, Lauri Markkanen is a potentially really good player, still very young. Wendell Carter Jr., same thing, second year, really talented guy that missed most of last year with injury. Zach LaVine, if his head is on straight, he's really, really good. I don't know what the deal was with Satoransky, but he was excellent for Washington. Didn't play a ton in their opener for whatever reason. So, they've got more established talent. I think Otto Porter, even though he's probably maybe a skosh overpaid, he's a really good player. So they have good players on that roster, including Mitchell High's own Thaddeus Young, who has been around the league a little bit and now finds himself in Chicago. So it's a good group. I don't know. They've still got some work that's to be done for sure, but it's not a bad group, and I think they're probably a little ahead of where the Grizzlies are right now.
What were some of the brighter parts of Wednesday night opener, the 19-point loss to Miami? The first 3 quarters, for sure. The fourth quarter, definitely not.
Right out of the gate, the first 3 quarters were certainly brighter than that fourth one. That's for sure. I think some of the things that I think were notable. There were moments, that early part with Ja Morant, where he really finished well and very acrobatically at the basket. If he could finish close to that inside, he's going to be a real handful because he will never be any weaker than he is right now in the NBA. He's only going to get stronger. He's only going to get more physical, and he's already able to finish against some aggressive, good interior defenders. So that's a positive. Brandon Clark, I thought, was terrific and really has shown so much of the stuff that made people like me really excited about him as a prospect. He just doesn't play like a rookie. I mean, he just looks very composed out there, and is one of those guys that brings a lot to the table. And so he can do all kinds of little things, and even showed a little sweet shooting stroke in the corner three. One of only 5 threes made by the Grizzlies. So those were some real positive moments. I thought Marko Guduric was surprisingly good. He didn't play that well in the preseason, but he was I thought really good. Not only in terms of being a shooting guard, he didn't make threes, but no one else did either. But he really got to the basket well. He actually kind of facilitated pretty well. He was a good ball handler. So that stuff was good. Tyus Jones, was solid as a backup point guard. Made a ton of little floaters and runners and all kinds of nifty little shots. And then we saw, I think, Jaren Jackson Jr., a nice diversity of skills from him. So those are the good things. The bad things, of course, some of it we knew about. Some of it, we didn't. I don't think anything should come as a major surprise, Brett. But when Jonas Valanciunas came back, I mean, he was rusty, like somebody left that shovel out for about a year and tried to pick it back up, and the thing was just completely rusted over. It's going to take a few games and then some for the big fella to get himself back into form. As he just not only was he a step slow, but the way he plays was not being officiated real helpfully. He was getting a lot of offensive fouls, and it just was the kind of thing you'd expect to see from a guy that hasn't played high level basketball in a while and didn't really practice and didn't play any preseason. Also, what was interesting too, Brett, was the Grizzlies offensively. They changed. Going back and watching the game again and doing the old film study that I like to do. The Grizzlies really changed their offensive style when he was in the game. They played so much 5-out, really emphasizing the spacing. But when Valanciunas came back, I don't know if they were trying to meet him halfway, but there was a lot more post play. There was a lot more 2 bigs inside, 3 out, 2 in kind of stuff, which you didn't see any of from the Grizzlies in preseason. They almost, in that one game, matched the entire post-ups from all their preseason games combined. And Valanciunas had 5 post-ups. The team only had 10 in all of preseason combined. So it kind of tells you where they were with changing their offense. So we'll see kind of how that goes. And then the Grizzlies gave up a big run, which they did in the preseason against Charlotte. So that's 2 in 4 NBA games, 3 of them preseason, but 2 big runs given up in 4 NBA games. Kind of tells you where the Grizzlies are in terms of composure and being able to stop teams that go on those runs.
You mentioned the fouling of Jonas Valanciunas. You also said one thing in the development this year, a few weeks back with us. You said one of the big things in development this year of Jaren Jackson, he's got to play and not foul. For one night, he was able to do that in Miami.
Yeah, he was. He didn't pick up his first foul for 26 minutes or so, which is excellent news for the Grizzlies. But I would say it's interesting to see how it affects the way he plays, because I think it also took away a little bit of his zip, when it came to closing out and finishing. And I would guess, I don't know this, but I would think that the Grizzlies probably said, you know what, you need to stay out there. And if that means that you got to take a little edge off, then so be it. If that means you're 85% of the defender that you could be, then okay, we'll take that trade off. Because I think he was all the way up to 11 for most of his rookie year, and that kind of cost him. So that's the trade-off, and it's something to kind of keep an eye on, Brad. How much does that affect his ability to be a dominant defensive player? Can he learn to play at kind of 90%, like a lot of the greats can kind of ease in and then crank it up at those moments when they really need it, and maybe risk that foul, but for the most part, kind of take it down a little bit.
Do you think it burns him to want to be a dominant defensive player?
It's hard to tell with Jaron because he's so happy-go-lucky, personality-wise. So I feel uncomfortable saying that it burns anyone, particularly him. He doesn't give the vibe that much is like just he's a real he's a professional. He's a son of a professional. It reminds me a lot of Mike Conley, or early on, where he didn't, wasn't going to raise a lot of waves, wasn't going to, necessarily do anything standing out. Not going to get a bunch of technical fouls. Not going to, flip out and, rant and rave out there. But he was very determined and driven to be a great player. And, Jaren Jackson Jr. comes from Jaren Jackson Sr., who was a 12-year pro. His mom is she was a player herself, and now she's head of the WNBA Players Association. And so, he's around pros. So he kind of knows the pro life. So none of this stuff really phases him. That's why I think it's, it's different than a kid coming in like Ja Morant, who, while his dad was, teammates with Ray Allen and they've been around, this is his first crack at it, and it's a different thing.
Yeah. And like you mentioned, Mike Conley, right now, as young as both of them are, you don't really know what moves either one of them yet. At that age.
Again, that's the crazy. They're both 20. I mean, neither one, and they'll be 20 for the entire year. Ja Morant will turn 21 in August next year, and Jaren in September of next year. I mean, they can't drink legally, neither one. And think that Jaren Jackson is a month younger than Ja Morant. I mean, He is so young.
Just turned 20, didn't he?
Yeah, he just turned 20. Like I said, last month he turned 20. So it is. It's really interesting how composed he is on the court and how capable of what he is. It's pretty remarkable to see, but you got to keep that in mind, and you got to understand that there is some immaturity sometimes, and there are some things that he'll do that will frustrate you because he's still a kid.
Yeah, he is. And tonight against the Bulls, Sunday afternoon against Brooklyn, Kyrie Irving with that kind of point production and 0 turnovers.
Oh, well, I mean, when he gets going, man, he's an incredibly fun player to watch. I hope everyone's going to be there on Sunday because he is, and he put on a show last year, if you remember, for the Celtics in the fourth quarter of that game with the Grizzlies and helped them come back from 18 down to winning. Kyrie Irving is a tremendous player.
And he is. And Sunday afternoon, the Nets are here. What's the upside, the max point for the Nets this year?
Ooh, that's tough, man. I watching them play. I mean, you can see. I thought it was kind of a nice encompassing sort of game on Wednesday against the T-Wolves of what they can do, good and bad. I mean, you saw Kyrie when he goes off. He's really, really good, and they've got some excellent players between him and Joe Harris and Karis LeVert and Jarrett Allen and but without KD, that takes the edge off of them being an elite team. But I think Kyrie plus those guys will certainly take them to, I'd say 40, maybe 45, 43, 45, somewhere in that neighborhood. I don't see them as a threat at the top of the East. I don't see them beating Philly or Milwaukee or any of those teams.
I went Milwaukee to win it all. What do you think?
The whole thing?
Yep.
I think that's reasonable.
No, I'm sorry. Clippers over Milwaukee. Milwaukee to win the East.
I think Milwaukee looks really good. You saw last night. It was so impressive. I mean, Giannis with a triple-double in 28 minutes. 20, 13, and 11 in 28 minutes. And more impressively to me, Brett, watching the game, was he fouled out with about 5 minutes left to play, and they closed out and they finished on the road in Houston against a good Rockets team without Giannis. They finished. It was a one-possession game. So when he fouled out, they were able to not just hang on, but to extend it and to win. That is very impressive. And that tells you, okay, there's something to this group. We're kind of going to wait and see what happens when they lose Malcolm Brogdon, how will they respond. But so far, obviously very early on, so far so good. I think they're really, really good. And I would say Philly, I do think Philly has that extra little something this year, though. I think Josh Richardson is a great acquisition. He does a lot of what Jimmy Butler did for them without the drama and overwrought nonsense that Jimmy Butler can bring to the table. And if they can perform in the postseason and get a little extra out of Embiid, who was really good in very limited minutes, I think those are the two best ones.
Time goes by fast when we're having fun, Peter. 19th Grizzlies home opener. Can you believe it?
I can't. It's wild. I was just thinking about the FedEx Forum home opener 15 years ago, which I remember being present for. You remember that game?
Oh, yeah. Against Washington, wasn't it?
Against Washington. Mm-hmm. That's right. The Wizards.
I like to call it the debut of Brian Cardinal.
It was that. Bonzi Wells led the way for the Grizzlies in that game. And I remember the Puerto Rican sensation Peter John Ramos played center for Washington because they had so many injuries and suspensions. They only played 7 guys that night. It looked like a stone-cold lock the Grizzlies would win the FedEx Forum opener, but the Grizzlies always seem to have a little trick up their sleeve when it comes to the opener, and usually it's a joker. That's what happened on that night. So hopefully it'll be a little better. Hopefully this will be reminiscent of what we saw last year, where the Grizzlies got catered in the opener at Indiana and then came back home against Atlanta and won an exciting affair. 2 Eastern Conference teams, very similar kind of schedule this year. So hopefully that'll be what'll happen. But I know you have the Grizzlies winning 22.
I do.
I think that's probably about right. At the end of the year, it gets a little funky with teams, resting guys. So it could vacillate anywhere between 22 and 28. But they ain't winning 30. And on that evidence last night, Wednesday, they might not win 20. They're going to have to improve a fair bit. And it's the other thing, Brett, looking around the West, I know DeAndre Ayton got his suspension, so we'll see how the Suns handle that. But the Suns looked shockingly competent out there. The Kings lost Marvin Bagley for 4 to 6 weeks, but the Kings are a talented group. It's just hard in the West. Even the Thunder went to Utah and really put on a game performance. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander looks awesome for that team. It's hard when you look up and down the West, Brett, to just feel confident the Grizzlies are going to rack up a whole bunch of wins, particularly on the road.
Be ahead of anybody.
Even at home.
Yeah.
Yeah. I suppose anyone in the West. I mean, there's a few teams in the East that look pretty bad, but in the West, I don't know. Everyone looks pretty good. Even the Warriors last night, that was kind of rough, but I'm not gonna completely toe tag them just yet.
Now, I think they were meaning regular season game, but at tip-off, they were talking about the first game for the Warriors in San Francisco, and they said since February of maybe 71, it was the first home opener in San Francisco since 67, but they would play some games. Peter, I'm almost certain the 75 finals, the Rick Barry led team and the Al Attles coach team, I want to say, I think it was just 2, however many home games they had. For some, I'd have to look at Basketball Ref to double-check this, but I'm pretty sure those games were played at the Cow Palace, technically in San Francisco, Daly City, but it's definitely West Bay. It's definitely not East Bay, definitely not Oakland, because the building was booked for something else, not thinking the Warriors would get to the playoffs. I don't want to take too much exception with TNT's graphics department because I think they were meaning regular season, but the 75 finals were played in San Francisco.
You are exactly right about that. They were played at the Cow Palace in Daly City.
Yeah.
Technically, the Cow Palace is in Daly City, so maybe that's where maybe they're getting.
Well, that's a loose out, isn't it?
It is, but it's like saying, technically
played at DeSoto County Civic Center.
That's right. Technically, that's not Memphis. Like, okay, all right. I mean, for all intents and purposes, it certainly was the Cow Palace. Of course, legendary Roy Shire wrestling promotion out there, Brad. I'm sure you'll remember.
Oh, yeah.
The legendary Pat Patterson out there performing for Roy Shire, winning tag team championships in the Cow Palace, and Mondo Guerrero. It was great. That's the Cow Palace was the Mid-South Coliseum of the Bay Area. There's no question about it.
Was Mongolian Stomper at all involved?
I don't believe the Mongolian Stomper was involved in that particular territory. No,
I think he was a Memphis original production, don't you?
I believe Mongolian Stomper is a local product, correct?
Yeah.
I don't think he got outside of. I bet you never went west of the Mississippi River. I'm saying that
he's ours, and we're not sharing him. A little bit like Plowboy Frazier.
A little bit like Flopboy. Yeah, Flopboy. There's no question about Flopboy Frazier.
And
Lord Humongous as well.
And one more for the road, Phil Hickerson.
Oh, then whose name was changed to P.Y. Chuhai in a perhaps not so politically correct turn.
No.
So yes, that is the legend of Memphis wrestling. We will see none of that tonight at FedEx Forum.
We won't.
I think Memphis wrestling has been. I think they're going to take a little bit of a powder this year on the wrestling, which I'm sure will not trouble you too much, Brett.
Real quickly, Peter, on the political socioeconomic front for the NBA. Do you think it dies down and goes away, or does it simmer, or does it stay at a boil all year? Where do you think it is?
I think it'll be a simmer. They are still. It's not going away. The latent issues that were there are still there. What is interesting is to compare, and I don't. I feel like people haven't modified or thought about the stance that Adam Silver has kind of taken now. I think because of LeBron and all that, I feel like there were some modifications, and I think Adam Silver, compared to some of the other companies that are doing business in China, his statements since his first very regrettable one have been very strong in comparison to those other companies.
Yes, at Mulligan time, he got it right.
Yeah, he got it right the second and third time around. Unlike the Astros, who are still fumbling around. They're on number 8, 9.
It's affecting them on the field, too.
I hadn't quite got there yet, but maybe eventually. So I think people are still judging somewhat on that first one. But if you look at other, no other companies have really even dared to do as much as the NBA has done since then in saying things like, the government wanted us to fire Daryl Morey. Nobody else has even come close to publicly acknowledging the role that the Chinese government has in those sorts of decisions. And the Chinese government's not happy about it, but because basketball has a great deal of popularity, because basketball, I was reading about this, it's interesting, Brett, they love soccer, as most every country does, but soccer is actually, it's on kind of, when they're sleeping, because most of the high-level soccer takes place while they're asleep. So it's not hugely popular on TV, but the NBA is on breakfast, kind of early morning, sort of Today Show kind of situation. It's very popular, and there's not really an alternative. And so there is some pressure from the populace that, if they just completely take it off the air, this is one area where they don't have necessarily as much leverage as usual, because there's not really a ready-made replacement.
They usually have a lot of leverage.
Without basketball. They still got plenty of leverage, don't get me wrong, but not quite as much as usual. And so they're not itching to take that off their airwaves. So I do think the NBA has a little bit of a stronger hand than almost any other capitalist entity that goes into China.
Peter, good luck to you tonight. You're calling a good one. Germantown at Whitehaven, down in Whitehaven, at historic Whitehaven Stadium on 96.1 and 87.7. Stay dry, enjoy, and there'll be plenty of good football tonight in our area, and plenty of Grizzlies tonight and Sunday afternoon when the Grizzlies face Brooklyn. Thank you, Peter. We really appreciate it.
Yeah, and I don't know if I'll see you Sunday or not, Brett, but I hope so.
I'm going to the Titans game Sunday.
Oh, well, no, I'll listen. I'll make sure to save you a seat there.
You got it.
All right. Take care, Brett. Thanks so much. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Peter. Peter Edmiston from 7A to 10A every morning on these airwaves with C.J. Hurt doing the experience, enjoying the experience, and also with the Athletic. Hey, everybody, if you're in the market for a Chevy car, truck, or SUV, new or pre-owned, see my guys at All-Star Chevy in Olive Branch. I was down there today. And I was down there today at lunchtime, and they had the grill going. The pork chops, unbelievable lunch. If I only could have left there and taken me about a 4-hour nap, but I couldn't because work was calling. They will treat you like a star. If you're there at the right times, they'll feed you really well, too. Simple as ABC at All-Star Chevrolet. A is the All-Star Chevy Challenge to beat any written offer from any Mid-South dealer, or they'll buy you a tank of gas. B, the better buying experience. They value your time, and they make it quick. And C, the customer care. They want you to be an All-Star family member for this car, truck, and all the cars or trucks that you'll ever need. Before you head to All-Star and Olive Branch, check out the inventory at allstarautogroup.com. Silverados, Equinox, Traverse, Impala, Camaro, the best Chevy lineup ever. Don't go to Collierville, the Pike, or South Haven. Find new roads to Olive Branch and All-Star Chevy, minutes from just anywhere in our area, or go to allstarautogroup.com. Mention you heard about them on this station, and you'll get a Malco movie gift card when you test drive any All-Star Chevy you want. Head to All-Star Chevrolet in Olive Branch or go to allstarautogroup.com. We come back, we talk high school football. It'll be Protect the Football Friday night. Every coach will say that tonight. Glenn Rogers, he's next on Sports Time with Wolo and Stats on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56, 87.7 and 96.1.
Sports 56 now has 2 FM homes. You can now find Real Sports Talk on 96.1 as well as 87.7 on your FM dial.
The folks at Homer Skelton Hyundai want to say thank you. Thank you, Memphis, for another spectacular year. They set records, but I can understand why. You think about the product. Where else do you get a 10-year, 100,000-mile limited powertrain warranty? That's what you get on every new car at Homer Skelton Hyundai. Oh, and thank you again for the 11th straight year, the #1 certified pre-owned car dealership in all of Memphis. It starts with that product, but then it goes to the shopper assurance. Where else do you go where you get transparent pricing, flexible test drive, take the car for a couple of days if you want, streamlined buying process? You're not going to be there all day, in and out. And then, and I have not seen this anywhere else, the 3-day worry-free exchange. You buy a new car, if you've got any buyer's remorse, you've got 3 days to change your mind. Just get on Lamar, take it into Mississippi, the first exit's Craft Road, turn left, and go see Chris True and all the gang at Homer Skelton Hyundai.
They're doing it again at Family Leisure. This time it's a factory direct pool table. Oh, and some more of the spas on sale. Free installation on all in-stock pool tables. Free play-in package. Free choice of felt. Pool tables as low, listen, $12.99. Additional discounts on all those in-stock spas. Plenty in stock ready to ship. 20, 30, maybe even 40% off spa accessories. And swim spas starting at $9,999. Get to I-40 and Whidden Road. There's always something good at Family Leisure.
Get your gun, Nelly, and saddle up Penelope. It's Western Trading Days at Sunrise Buick GMC. Old-time trading prices on over 700 new Buicks and GMC trucks, and the Sunrise Used Car Corral has over 500 in stock. Branch managers have been told to cut prices to the bone, and remember, you can bring your car to Sunrise Service no matter where you bought it. If you're a good person with bad credit, SunriseMemphis.com will help you put one of your brand on these little fillies. Free hot dogs and Cokes at the Chuck Wagon. Western Trading Days going on now at all 3 Sunrise locations. We make it fun to buy a car again.
In today's evolving workplace, XMC understands the process of getting office work done has moved from the desktop to your pocket. The new Xerox multifunctional printers and Connect Key app technology are game changers. Are you working with confidential information? Does it need to be secure from unwanted threats? Do you need to translate documents to another language? Xerox's App Gallery provides solutions like secure printing and easy translator technology. XMC is the second largest exclusive Xerox agent in the U.S. with 9 locations to serve you. We've been in business for over 25 years and have received top awards from Xerox. In changing our world one experience at a time, our team's committed to doing what's right for your business. XMC is proud to be your leader in document and print management, and it'd be our pleasure to serve you. Contact XMC today at 888-814-3114 or visit our website at xmcinc.com. XMC, excellence in office solutions.
Memphis, it's official. Crab King Seafood is where it's at. For the most flavored seafood and biggest plates, run to a Crab King's near you. Visit our Bartlett Cordova location at 7140 Stage Road or our East Memphis location at 5992 Knight Arnold Road. Starting this week, get 3 juicy snow crabs, 17 shrimps, 2 whole sausages, 2 corn, 2 eggs, and a large side of potatoes for only $43.99. That's right, $43.99. The price, the portions, the service is why Crab Kings is #1. Make the right choice the first time. Make it Crab Kings. Come and devour our tasty snow crabs, king crabs, shrimp, salmon, and catfish. Enjoy Memphis' best tasting pastas with your choice of toppings. Visit our Bartlett Cordova locations at 7140 Stage Road or our East Memphis location at 5992 Knight Arnold Road. Crab Kings is open Tuesday through Sunday. For more information, Google Crab Kings Memphis or download the app Crab Kings, a Memphis original.
Hey, Tiger fans, this is John Stacy of the Blue and Gray Show. You can hear Drew Barrett and I talk Tigers with Tigers every Sunday at 5 right here on Sports 66, 96.1, and 87.7. Drew, who do we got in the studio with us this week?
This week on the show, John and I are joined in studio by former University of Memphis Tigers wide receiver Joe Craig as we break down the Tulsa game and get you ready for the big AAC matchup against SMU.
Thanks, Drew. We'll be here Sunday on Sports 56, 96.1, and 87.7. The Blue and Gray Show, where we talk Tigers with Tigers.
Now, more of Sports Time with Wolo and Stats. This hour of Sports Time is brought to you by Homer Skelton Hyundai. Here once again are Dave Woloshin and Brad Norsworthy.
Dave will join us from Tulsa about 5:15. The Tigers have safely arrived in Tulsa, so he'll visit with us about 5:15 after we visit with Rick Horrow on the business of sports to start the 5 o'clock hour. But right now on Fridays at this time, we talk high school football, and we do it with our friend Glenn Rogers, assistant coach at MUS, former Tiger great, longtime Memphis high school sports scene fixture, and your dad, legendary high school coach. Good afternoon, Glenn. Good to see you in person on a Friday.
Good afternoon, Stats, and all our listeners. And just great to be here. And it's Friday night, baby. It's high school football.
Protect the football. How many times y'all said that today to youngsters?
We said that all day today. You wake up and it's raining, and that's the first thing on the coach's mind on a wet day like today is, boy, can we take care of the football tonight, and can we impose our will and make the other team cough it up?
And Glenn, so much run-pass option now where you're kind of bellying it to that running back, and then you're taking it back from him. What's y'all's rule with your quarterback, your running backs on the take or keep? Well,
you're reading either the defensive end or the outside backer. So if that defensive end stays out there, there's one less guy in the box. Give it. If he closes down fast, pull it, and then you got an option to either run it.
Pretty simple football.
Or you can throw it out there to the guy in the slot. So pretty simple football. But a lot of times it's according to who the quarterback is. If he's the guy that can read it.
And you got a good quarterback.
Yeah, absolutely. Vaught Benj, our senior, he's been very patient. Has done a tremendous job for us this year. It's senior night for us, and Marcus Henderson, Hunter Kendall, Cody Hopkins, Keithan Hopkins. We got a lot of seniors that we're very proud of, and they've done an amazing job for us.
Just by virtue of age, a 17, 18-year-old, there's a world of difference between him and a senior over a 10th grader. High school football, very much a senior-led sport, and for senior night, that is their night because they're getting close to the end of it.
Exactly.
Most of them, Marcus Henderson won't, most of them, when they take the pads off after a win or loss in the state playoffs, that's it with football for the rest of your life.
Oh, definitely.
You don't play pickup football.
Exactly. And, we got some guys, like I said, Charlie Street, Charlie Gilbert, some of these guys, it may be their last game. And we're so proud of them. And, Collins Robinson, we're just so proud of our guys that has really poured their heart and soul, and the parents. We give a lot of credit to the kids, but the parents are making a big sacrifice, not only financially, but time-wise, too, putting in the time and logging hours, driving on the road and seeing these young men play. So my hat's off to these senior parents as well.
And it's one of the most special times of the parents' lives. I've heard Archie and Olivia Manning talk about, and now they're getting to enjoy it again with a grandchild. Maybe their favorite spectating and going of all the going they did was watching those boys in high school football.
Yeah, I mean, it's just something, Stats, this. It's just something special about Friday nights. We all saw the movie Friday Night Lights, and, so that brought a lot of exposure to high school football, especially in Texas, but just in general. And, it's just Friday nights is a special night around the country for high school football.
It's special night, and something's got to give. In y'all's game, MUS against White Station 5-3, MUS 7-1, coming off that double overtime win last week against Pope John Paul. You had it really going your way and then had to pull it out in overtime. But you're averaging at about 37 points this year. White Station only allowing 28. What gives?
Yeah, their defense has been out. I've been watching their defense. They fly around. They blitz and bring guys from different areas. And, offensively, they're led by Ray Curry, the big tackle that's committed to Missouri. And he's their bell cow up front. And they got a quarterback in the back end that's an athlete. I think Coach Yarbrough has done an amazing job this year of leading the troops and getting the kids to respond well to them. They're 5-3. So, we're going to have our hands full, but I think we can get the job done. And defensively, we're going to have to really, really key in on the football and make sure we gang tackling it.
I think Barry Odom was picked right up where his coach and mentor Gary Pinkel left off. In the lines of scrimmage at Missouri, they don't want you if you're not physical.
Oh, exactly. Ray Curry is a big physical young man.
And they like it nasty. I was shocked by their Vanderbilt result last week.
I think we all were.
Yeah. I think Vandy was a little – I think they were a little bit shocked. Houston remains 8-0, one of the fun stories in Shelby County. They're 8-0, play against Cordova tonight.
Yeah, and, Houston, fun, a good story this year. Their tailback has been amazing. He's all year long. He's just been outstanding week in and week out. And it's shocking with Cordova. Coach Wimley's struggling. We know he's a great high school coach and one of the guys in this area that's a leader. And so it's kind of shocking to see Cordova's record the way it is. But, Arlington has been rolling, and I think they'll continue to roll tonight.
And we're talking with Peter earlier. He's doing Germantown at Whitehaven tonight. The Whitehaven linebacker trio shocked a lot of people. They're all going to be volunteers. The decommitment from Arkansas
and Mississippi State
and State, they're all going together. I'm hearing some didn't offer all three. Look, I think every coach out there, if they knew what it took to get the other two, they're going to offer all three. Didn't you think?
Exactly. If like you said, Stats. If you're after two of them and you think the third one's going to seal the deal, take him. We've seen lesser guys get scholarships, so all three of those guys can play. I think one of them will probably eventually put his hand on the ground and play defensive tackle, but all three of these guys can play. They're solid players. And we know Rodney Salisbury has an outstanding program that he's running out of Whitehaven.
6-1 for Whitehaven. The Whitehaven Tigers and Jeremy Pruitt in Tennessee, they worked it hard to get those guys.
Definitely. Coach Pruitt and David Johnson, Stats, I tell a lot of people anytime I can talk, David Johnson to me is one of the best recruiters in this country. He was at Memphis. I hate we lost him. He was our receivers coach, but he's from the Louisiana, New Orleans area. He is probably one of the best recruits that I've been around in my life. He does an amazing job.
Yeah, and you see them all come through.
I see them all come
MUS
through.
Players, including this year.
Yeah, and David does an amazing job, and I give Coach Pruitt a lot of credit for letting him do his job because some of these coaches step in the way, but David does an amazing job, and I've seen a lot of coaches recruit, and he's right up there with the best of them.
Far as underwhelming as it has been on the field for Jeremy Pruitt as head coach, he was one more great recruiter as an assistant coach, and he's still that. I still think he will get it worked out at Tennessee. They just had so many injuries, though.
Injuries, a lot of, think about this here, Dave. When you look at the teams that have been struggling, the Tennessees, even the Ole Misses, the Arkansas, the Vanderbilts, it's that one spot. It's the quarterback. And when you got a young man, you playing a freshman or you playing a redshirt freshman, if he's not very, very special or you don't have special people around him, like a big offensive line and a good running game, it's tough for a young man to come in there and lead a program. And so if you look at all these teams, it's been one consistent. They've been struggling at the quarterback position.
The recruitment of Marcus Henderson, has he enjoyed it? Has the young man enjoyed it?
Definitely. He and his wife and not his wife, his mom, Adrian, and his dad, Marcus Henderson Sr., they've been an amazing family to work with. Marcus is not from Memphis originally. He's from Tacoma, Washington, but it's coming down now to Missouri, LSU, Ole Miss is back, got back in the picture, and Alabama. And so he's got 4 good schools he's looking at, and I'm so proud of him. He's done well in the classroom, and he's just one of the fine young men that represents not only MUS but represents this city as well.
Has Coach Saban been through?
No, he's not been through yet, but Alabama's really been present and in the picture these last few weeks, and so has Ole Miss. Coach Clark has been reaching out from Ole Miss, and Ole Miss is back in the picture now because they recruited Marcus as a defensive lineman. He wants to give it a shot playing defense.
Wooddale tonight, 7-1. Talk about good stories.
Coach Griffin.
I think Wooddale and Easter are two of the better stories this year.
Yes, and Coach Griffin has done an amazing job with Wooddale, getting things turned around and got his team poised to make a deep run in the playoffs. And like you said, East, resurgence, reemergence. Their coach Katari has came over from Kingsbury and struggled last year, but got his foot on solid ground. And a lot of times, Stats, it take kids a year or two to buy in, and it's good to see the administration that he's giving him a job, giving him a chance to do his job.
6-2 for East, and they're contending in its first year in 8-1A against Freedom Prep that had to forfeit 7 wins.
Yeah, and it's sad that Freedom Prep had to forfeit those wins, but it's one of those things. You gotta play by the rules and do what's asked of you. But it's sad that they had to forfeit those wins like that. Because some kids, just weren't involved in certain things. So, but everybody gets punished for it, and that's one thing I don't like. But it's what we got to do. We got to follow the rules.
Who's the best quarterback in Shelby County?
That's a tough question.
Is it a Division I prospect out there?
I really haven't one guy just really hadn't stood out head and shoulders above the rest. So it's hard for me to say. The quarterback at Briarcrest Dallas has really been, when I watch him on tape, he's short, but he
really good supporting cast.
He checks all the boxes. He got a lot of supporting cast. He's a good spread guy because he can run and throw. I would probably give him the nod because he's one of the better guys I've seen. And then our guy, Vaught Benz, has done a good. Vaught, to me, has done a good job of managing the game and knowing his strengths and weaknesses. And but if I was just saying one guy, it would probably be the young man from Briarcrest who I've seen that does a little bit of both.
Last year it was Eric Gray at Lausanne. Is there a big-time program-changing difference maker at running back in Shelby County?
Well, the kid from Houston, he really stands out. He's short. I know a lot of people hold that against him, but you can't put down what he's done. His stats are great. He runs hard. He's physical. Somebody's going to give him a chance. And so, our young man, Hunter Kendall, he's 5'10", about 220, 215. He's done an amazing job, and he doesn't have any major offers yet, but I can see some things coming down the pipe for Hunter because he's starting to heat up the way he's been running the football and taking care of the football.
7-1 for MUS, so tonight will be the 9th game, and then next week, and then the playoffs start?
Yeah, next week we're at Briarcrest. And so Briarcrest playing Manassas tonight, so they should end up being 9-0, and if we take care of business, we'll be 8-1. And so that'll be a big game for first place on the line next week at Briarcrest.
And that will be the number 1 seed come playoff time?
Yeah, well, the winner of that game will be the number 1 seed. So a lot riding on tonight for us with White Station, and then next week there'll be a lot riding on both teams with us in Briarcrest.
Got to get your thoughts on the Tigers tomorrow in Tulsa after what I think the best they've played all year.
Absolutely.
Last week against Tulane. The win of the year, you think?
Absolutely. It was amazing to see our offense come to life, and the defense did an amazing job against a very, very good Tulane team that really went down there. We went down there last year and they embarrassed us. And so it was good to see.
I think that was on Mike Norvell's mind.
Oh, exactly. And the defense showed up. Adam Fuller does an amazing job with our defense. And, it's good to hear. I was hearing you earlier talk about this. It's good to see ABC in College Game Day talking about our program, Memphis, and the city of Memphis. So
in November, late October, November.
That's a win-win not only for the U of M program, but our city is well stated. It's always good to give Memphis some positive exposure on national TV.
I know you did. I know there were times it was close, but it has happened. The Tigers have Mike Norvell with Justin Fuente from before him. They built a program.
Absolutely, and I give Justin Fuente a lot of credit. He started the foundation. Well, really, Tommy West.
I'll go back and give Tommy some.
With D'Angelo Williams, and it's unfortunate we didn't jump on board when Tommy was here and support it. And then we stepped down for a while, but then Justin Fuente and Mike Norvell has done an amazing job of not only putting our program on the map, but sustaining success. Mike came in, the cover was not bare when he came. A lot of players, and he's continuing with the recruiting base along with his coaching staff. And I'm so proud to say I'm a Tiger. And then look what Penny Hardaway is doing on our basketball team. It's a great time to be a Tiger.
Just the profile of the university.
Exactly. A lot of exposure. ABC is talking about doing our game. College Game Day is talking about coming in. What a great time to be a Memphis, not only a Memphis native, but a Tiger as well.
Will you be out there at 7:30 next Saturday morning hooping and hollering?
Hey, I'll be out there screaming and hollering, and my wife and my daughter and all my family, we'll be out there supporting it. We're big Tiger supporters.
Got to get that win in Tulsa.
Yeah, we got to handle that business first, David, because without that, then all that goes out the window probably.
Going to be a wet Friday night tonight for high school football.
That's right.
I hope people get out and
protect the football and fans get out. A lot of senior nights going on tonight. Senior night at Briarcrest, senior night at Hull Dobbs, and get out and support these young men and the coaching staff.
It'll be a lot of hot chocolate and coffee sold at the concession
Exactly, it
stand.
sure will. And we got the best corn dogs in town.
Well, you sure do have that. I've had those
Absolutely.
over at Hull Dobbs.
Yeah.
That's for sure. It'll be fun tonight. MUS tonight against White Station. On our family station tonight, Christian Brothers against Wooddale. Eli Savoy calling that game on 560.
Big game for the brothers.
Big game. Germantown at Whitehaven, as we talked about with Peter on 96.1 and 87.7. Glenn Rogers will visit again next Friday. Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you. And go Tigers, go.
You got it. Glenn Rogers talking high school football with us each and every Friday. You're listening to Sports Time with Wolo and Stats on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56, 96.1 and 87.7.
Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy get you through the midday with Sports 56 Middays. Delivered by FedEx. Weekdays from 10 till 1 on Sports 56, 96.1 and 87.7.
You're scrambling around. You need a haircut. Where you gonna go? I got a place that has 15 locations. I've got a place where details matter. I've got a place that can be invigorating and relaxing at the same time. You know what it is. It's Supercuts. Every haircut ends with the signature hot towel finish. Every haircut matters. When you're getting ready, you go into Supercuts. The stylist will pay attention to every detail. So you get the haircut you want, and, of course, you're going to finish with that signature hot towel. You walk out clean, sharp, and not just ready, but super ready. And you might want to ask that hairstylist about what the Tea Tree experience is. One part invigorating, one part relaxing. The Tea Tree experience is something you need to try. 15 locations. I mentioned that, didn't I? All you've got to do is go to supercuts.com. You'll find the one nearest to you. Get super ready at Supercuts. Campbell Clinic now offers daytime walk-in care, and you don't need an appointment. If you've got any kind of urgent break, sprain, strain, you can walk into any of their 5 convenient locations Monday through Friday from 8 until 4. There's no long wait you have to put up with the ER, and those doctors are really good, but they're not orthopedists. They're not world-renowned orthopedists who have come up with different procedures and written the manuals for them that are used everywhere in the world, and I'm not kidding you. And you can now see those doctors who treat the Tigers, the Grizzlies, the Redbirds. You can see them today without an appointment. And I'm talking Collierville, Germantown, South Haven, downtown at the Med Center, or even the Campbell Clinic Spine Center in Cordova. Now, if you've got something pressing, you got to go to work and you can bear the pain until the evening, there's Campbell Clinic After Hours. That's Monday through Thursday from 5 to 8 in Germantown, South Haven, even Saturday morning in Germantown. If you're injured, don't wait. Visit Campbell Clinic Walk-In Care or Campbell Clinic After Hours. There's a new commissary in town in Collierville. Germantown Commissary is doubling. Yeah, they're still going to have the old Germantown Commissary by the tracks, but now there's a huge new Germantown Commissary in Collierville at Poplar and Houston Levee Road. It's huge, too. There's a drive-through. There's plenty of parking. No telephone pole to get in your way. A cool patio. It's right by the track, so the tradition continues. And this is a tradition that's been around forever. That commissary is famous for hickory-smoked, slow-cooked Memphis-style barbecue. They've got a private party room at the new one in Collierville. Self-catering still continues. Party packs for $5.95. Basically, the great ribs, the great pulled shoulder, the great deviled eggs. Everything is there in Collierville and Germantown now. So there is now a Germantown and Collierville style of barbecue. It's called Germantown Commissary.
How you doing, people? And if you're in the market for a new Chevy car, truck, or SUV, new or pre-owned, see my guys at All-Star Chevrolet in Olive Branch. They will treat you like a star. It's simple as ABC. A is the All-Star Challenge to beat any written offer from any Mid-South dealer, or they buy you a tank of gas. B, better buying experience. They value your time and make it quick. C, customer care. They want you to be an All-Star family member for this car or truck and all the other ones you'll ever need. And before you head to All-Star and Olive Branch, check out the inventory at allstarautogroup.com. Silverados, Equinox, Traverse, Impala, Camaro. They have all you ever need with the best Chevy lineup ever. So don't go to Collierville, The Pike, or South Haven. Find new roads to Olive Branch and All-Star Chevrolet. Minutes from anywhere in Memphis, or go to allstarautogroup.com. Just mention you heard about them on this station, and you'll get a Malco movie gift card when you test drive any All-Star Chevy you want.
Now, more of Sports Time with Wolo and Stats. This hour of Sports Time is brought to you by Homer Skelton Hyundai. Here once again are Dave Woloshyn and Brad Norsworthy.
It's as must-win as it probably has been in a long time for Tennessee as they host South Carolina with a third-string quarterback. Same thing for A&M tomorrow. The loser of the A&M Mississippi State game, for sure if it's state, probably will not be going to a bowl. Tennessee, the loser of the Tennessee-South Carolina game, won't be going to a bowl. Arkansas, I don't think they're having any chance, they're harboring any idea of bowl game or the upset tomorrow night at 6 o'clock in Tuscaloosa against the two-less Alabama Crimson Tide. Does the younger Tagovailoa get to play and Nick Saban have to remark about it post-game?
Well, if you go off his comments yesterday when somebody asked him about it, it's basically, we play the best players to win the game.
Yeah.
We're winning the game.
He was running hot about that yesterday. Tomorrow, pretty standard picks for us from the preseason, except for a couple games. In the preseason, I picked Tennessee to win this game. You did as well. Dave did not. He had South Carolina in the preseason. In the preseason, I had Mizzou winning their game against Kentucky tomorrow. You had Kentucky winning in the preseason, as did Dave.
I did. Did you say I had Tennessee winning tomorrow?
No, you had Tennessee losing. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Dave had Tennessee winning. Both of us with South Carolina back in the preseason. So far this year, I have not missed a game on Alabama. That's not that hard. You haven't either. Dave missed the A&M game. Alabama was pretty easy to pick in the preseason, weren't they?
They were.
I've missed once on Arkansas. You've missed once on Arkansas. Dave's missed once on Arkansas. All of us missing the San Jose State game. In the preseason, I missed on Auburn against Texas A&M. I had A&M winning that one. You did as well. Dave did as well, and Dave missed on the Oregon game. So Dave has missed twice on Auburn. I haven't missed on Florida. You haven't missed on Florida. Dave missed once on Florida. On Georgia, all of us missing one time, and that was the South Carolina upset. Kentucky, right on so far for me, right on so far for you, right on so far for Dave. LSU, Dave had Texas winning. Both of us, Drew, we both had State winning last week. That's our only miss. So we've all missed once on LSU. Ole Miss, I've missed once. I missed on opening day. Dave missed once. He had Ole Miss defeating Cal, and they lost that game. You had Ole Miss beating Cal, and you missed that game. So we've all missed once on Ole Miss. Pretty predictable in the preseason for Ole Miss, wasn't it?
Pretty straight and narrow.
State have missed twice on at Kansas State in the LSU game. You've missed twice, both of those games as well. Dave missed on Kansas State. Mizzou missed twice. I had Mizzou undefeated to this point.
I did too.
Opening day and last week. Explain Wyoming, explain Vandy. You had the same thing. Dave had the very same thing. South Carolina, I've missed twice on. You've missed twice on. Dave's missed 3 times on. Tennessee, I have missed 2 times on. You have missed 2 times on, both of them the first 2 weeks, as the whole football world still shocked by the Georgia State result. Dave has only missed once, and that was opening day against Georgia State. He's been right on the rest of the way. A&M I've missed once on, and that was Auburn. You've missed
once on with Auburn. 1
time. That's right. Oh, I got you marked as a win on that one, Drew. I'm gonna have to go back.
Wait, did I had A&M winning that game,
and they lost the game.
Yeah, so that's the one that I missed.
Yeah, that's the one you missed. And Dave has missed twice on them. So preseason, we're holding up pretty well. But this weekend could be some changes, and then we, as you get into the cream puff weekend for the SEC, everybody will get that one right. Still some games for us to have some mixed bag on. Alabama should remain undefeated the rest of the way if Tua's ready, if he's well. If he's not, they lose to LSU and Auburn.
Yeah, they do. I mean, it's going to – I know Matt Jones is probably a very decent backup, could probably start for, half the SEC right now if we had to take a guess at it. But losing a Heisman hopeful in Tua – I mean, it's too much of a hit, and especially of how many different things he can do on the field for you. And way Joe Burrows and LSU is playing right now, I think they could get a Tua-less Alabama, and anything can happen in the Iron Bowl.
200-1 preseason for Joe Burrow to win the Heisman Trophy. And as Bruce Marshall said, I think he is the leader right now. It's not runaway leader, and it's mostly leader with the injured Tua. Let's see what Fields does at Ohio State and some others. I do think Kenneth Gainwell should get some votes. I don't think he should win it, but I think he should get some votes.
Some third-place votes? I mean, he won't. I don't think he'll get any first-place votes, but he could get some third or second-place votes.
It wouldn't be Crazy Town vote.
I don't think it would. I don't think if you put him on your ballot, you'd be laughed off and lose your Heisman voting privileges. It's not crazy.
I'm about the only person out there that's not a Heisman voter. Everybody I bring up on Twitter, Heisman voter in their bio. Everybody.
You don't get to vote for anything. You're not an AP voter, a Heisman voter, or
I get to vote for nothing.
Wooden Award voter.
Because I'm a voter without a country. And Arkansas, I can't be a Heisman voter in Arkansas because I don't work there. I can't be a Heisman voter in Mississippi because I don't live there. I work there enough, and I can't in Tennessee because I don't live there, but I work there. And
you're a man of no land.
In West Tennessee, Dave's a voter.
Dave's the voter in West Tennessee.
He took the Ron Higgins spot when Ron moved a few years ago.
Really sucks. You can't vote for anybody.
I can't. I don't even know if I can vote in municipal elections. I don't know. Maybe nothing, but
maybe Dave will let you fill out one of his votes one of these days.
Not a chance. And he should. He takes that very seriously. And you should. I'm glad that he does. And I think most do. There are a lot of Heisman voters. I think there's 961 voters, and I'd love to be one, but I'm not. But plenty of good college football this weekend. 10 undefeateds. World Series back at it tonight in D.C. with the Nationals needing 2 wins in the next 3 games. They never have to travel again. No more happy flight for them if they take care of business. And it feels like the dynamic around the Astros on the field and everything off the field really affecting them. So we'll see about that tonight with first pitch at 7:07 on Fox from the World Series.
You going to have your stopwatch ready?
I've got it ready. I'll always have the stopwatch ready. Juan Soto having a great World Series. I think he's MVP right now. He might need to add to it just a little bit, but right now he's done plenty for the Nationals to be staked to that 2-0 lead. 2 hours in the books. When we come back, we start hour number 3 with Rick Horrow on the business of sports. Then we go to Tulsa, and Dave will join us from there. We'll talk Tigers. Then at 5:30, our First National Bank and Trust football forecast comes your way. We wrap it up with Crunch Time. That's the next hour. Thank you for listening. Stay with us. You're listening to Sports Time with Wolo and Stats on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56, 87.7, and 96.1.
The folks at Homer Skelton Hyundai want to say thank you. Thank you, Memphis, for another spectacular year. They set records, but I can understand why. You think about the product. Where else do you get a 10-year, 100,000-mile limited powertrain warranty? That's what you get on every new car at Homer Skelton Hyundai. Oh, and thank you again for the 11th straight year, the #1 certified pre-owned car dealership in all of Memphis. It starts with that product, but then it goes to the shopper assurance. Where else do you go where you get transparent pricing, flexible test drive, take the car for a couple of days if you want, streamlined buying process? You're not going to be there all day, in and out. And then, and I have not seen this anywhere else, the 3-day worry-free exchange. You buy a new car, if you've got any buyer's remorse, you've got 3 days to change your mind. Just get on Lamar, take it into Mississippi, the first exit's Craft Road, turn left, and go see Chris True and all the gang at Homer Skelton Hyundai.
Hi, this is Troy Five-Ash, owner of Five-Ash Roofing. It is that time of year where the weather is unpredictable, and given the recent storms, it's a good time to discuss insurance claims. So here's a few things you should know. Always hire a local contractor, because if you have a problem with your roof down the road, you want to be able to find him. Never allow anyone to pressure you into signing a contingency contract. They're used as sales tools, making you feel committed, and the truth is, those contracts are not worth the paper they're written on. Be careful of door-knocking salesmen. Some are reputable, but many are not. They canvass the neighborhood and tell everyone to file a claim, working their percentages and not caring if you file a claim even when they know the likelihood of it being approved is low. Some will even damage your roof hoping to convince the adjuster it's storm damage. That's fraud, and contractors have gone to jail for that. So do your research and know who you're hiring. Five-Ash Roofing, the official roof of the University of Memphis Athletic Department. Fair, honest, and ethical. 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com.
Five-Ash Roofing, it's what we do. We're here for you.
If you're someone that enjoys a truly great steak, then there's only one choice for you downtown. 117 Prime. 117 Prime has lots of different things on the menu, but the main attraction is the steaks. Prepared by chefs that love a great steak, you can choose from the 5 or 10-ounce fillets, the 16-ounce prime, the 8-ounce top sirloin cap culotte, or the 14-ounce New York strip, or the king of them all, the 24-ounce dry-aged porterhouse. You heard that right, 24 ounces of the best steak you've ever tasted. If you're craving steak, then head downtown to the steak experts. Head to Prime.
125 seasons of Ole Miss football.
By Duke, he may go.
Under
Dexter
center.
breaks a tackle.
Mike
Wallace between two defenders.
The tradition continues.
He's to the end zone. Touchdown, Ole Miss. Breaks a tackle. He's gone down the sideline. Touchdown, Ole Miss. He is a beast.
On your home for the Rebels.
Sports 56, 96.1 and 87.7 FM.
We are Sports 56, WHBQ Memphis, WIVG-FM Tunica Memphis, and WPG-FLP Memphis, Flynn Broadcasting Stations. Welcome back to Sports Time with Wolo and Stats. This hour of Sports Time is brought to you by DeSoto Auto Sales. Here once again are Dave Wolosian and Brad Norsworthy.
Sadly, the final hour of a very fun week. We hope we wrap it up strong with you. Thank you for listening. Be safe out there. Slow down on the rainy streets. This hour brought to you every day by DeSoto Auto Sales. Down in DeSoto County at 5704 Goodman Road. Visit them online at DeSotoAutoSales.com. At DeSoto Auto Sales, they specialize in late model cars with low mileage, very high standards at DeSoto Auto Sales. All the cars test driven, checked out head to toe. Unlimited inventory, every make, every model. If it's not on the lot at DeSoto Auto Sales, they'll go out and find it for you. No shortcuts taken. You walk in, you're treated like family by kind, courteous employees and a laid-back, down-home environment at DeSoto Auto Sales. And they care about your time, and they want you to have the ultimate car experience. You walk in, test drive your car, paperwork done, credit approved, and you're gone in about 45 minutes. We're living in a world today that time matters, and they know that at DeSoto Auto Sales. Again, check out the referrals at DeSotoAutoSales.com, 662-890-7184, 5704 Goodman Road. Come on down to DeSoto County for that town and country experience at DeSoto Auto Sales. To talk the business of sport, we do it every Friday with Rick Haro, visiting professor at Harvard, part of the family of NBC stations, and he has joined us again today to talk the business of sport. And Rick, we start with the NBA as the NBA season tips off. The TV networks and the brands that back them, they firm up their programming plans at ESPN all week. Naturally, a big partner they are with First Take Live from Los Angeles, but they cannot get completely removed from the China story, can they?
Well, you know what? They will never get removed from the China story, and I think if Daryl Morey had his choice, he'd have rolled back over and gone to sleep and not pushed that Twitter button. But that's the society we live in now, and who'd have thought the reaction? Nobody has the right answer. 30% of the revenues, potentially, based on some internal reports, might be in jeopardy long term. But here's my take on it. 300 million Chinese who are basketball fans, you don't want to allow them never to come back to the NBA. So I think it behooves everybody to come back to the table and try to figure something else out. And the NBA has been sufficiently slapped. We all understand the tension between the First Amendment and business. We get that. But the fact that there hasn't been a whole lot of conversation in the last few days, I think is a pretty good thing, because if you're close to reaching some kind of understanding, maybe to get back some of the games slowly and to get back some of the sneaker deals, et cetera, from the instant Chinese reaction, you don't publicize it. So there is a chance that we haven't heard anything because all the sides are moving on and counting their losses. There is also an equal chance that both sides are trying to figure out how to get something done and they're staying quiet. I hope it's the latter.
And at a time for the NBA that the product and on the floor just maybe never better. Stars everywhere. 2 big stars in Los Angeles. No surprise with that. And no surprise that the Lakers enter the season with the most expensive NBA ticket.
Well, and, $170 to $250. I'm driving with a friend right now. I'm stuck here in Boston for my 40th reunion. I really want to do the series. So hashtag free Rick Haro from the stupid reunion. How's that? Is that a good way of doing it?
What your 40th reunion where?
40th reunion at Harvard Law School. I started at age 6.
Yes.
So I'm, 46. So that's the answer there. And so, but I'm driving right now on the streets of Boston with a good friend, Ted Kalari, and we're trying to figure out how to get to the Celtic game early enough to get a couple of beers and some dogs. And I can't wait for this game because the Celtics ready for a new season, and I can't wait to see Kawhi. Oh, wait, Kawhi's not playing for the Raptors
that
anymore.
was a shot.
No.
Yeah,
right. I know.
He's
so
in Brooklyn.
Defending champions minus the part that made them defending champions.
And what is the difference for you in going to a game now at TD and as compared to Old Boston Garden? Do you miss the Old Garden?
Yeah, I was at the Garden enough to know where the creaks in the floor were. Where remember Havlicek. You think some of your demographic know that Havlicek stole the ball stuff, and all of the teams of the '60s when we were in law school, the Boston Celtics really sucked because it was Curtis Rowe and Sidney Wicks. But you remember the Garden, right? You also remember the old Bruins. It's on the same site. They've just done some retooling of seats, so we'll see if there's more leg room. But it's an institution, and it'll be fun to go to that. And then tomorrow, well, it's a bookend, by the way. I know you don't care. I'm telling you anyway. Sunday, going to the Patriots Cleveland, which will be decent because Cleveland's not as good as people thought, and the Patriots are the juggernaut. And then tomorrow, I can't wait for my stellar game of the week between Hamilton and the Tufts Jumbos. I'm going to do that instead of going to part of the reunion. My guy that I'm with is the co-chairman of the reunion committee, so he's not supposed to know. But I'm not going to spend a lot of time at that reunion. Are you kidding? I'd rather go to sporting events.
What a fun weekend! And on Sunday with Tom Brady playing against Baker Mayfield, do you give any credence to Tom Brady maybe being at on another team next year? If he's not with the Patriots, he retires, doesn't he, Rick?
Yeah, there are rumors every single year about Tom Brady not liking, the recipe of the coffee in the locker room, or the fact that the personal trainer isn't given access, or that he can't get his cell phone done, or Antonio Brown left, undone laundry in his basement of his house before he got cut. Who knows what the issues are? But the bottom line is Brady ain't going anywhere. And as a Dolphin, I'm saying this reluctantly, they are the best team in the history of football. And I remember my friend and I were talking about it in the late 70s when the Dolphins used to regularly beat the snot out of the Patriots. Well, it doesn't happen anymore. Now it's the other way around.
And in that sports crazed town, all those Celtic legends, all the Bruins legends, all the Red Sox legends. Rick, is Tom Brady number one? Is he above Ted Williams? Is he above Bobby Orr?
That's a good question. I'll ask my Boston friend. Don't you think Tom Brady is number one in Boston? Please, no cursing. Orr and Havlicek and all that. Yes, he said, and that's correct. People have short memories. He absolutely is. But also, people have longer memories. Who's won 6 championships basically single-handed on the back end? If it wasn't for sorry. Yeah, Bill Russell. Forget it. Smart guy. You're right. But I don't think Bill Russell had the dynamism of a Tom Brady, especially in the social media era when everybody grows up to see this guy be the hero of New England. And I also think Bill Russell had some other superstars that were together with him. Tom Brady is the single constant on the field with Bill Belichick, the other constant.
Yeah, and that's another debate there, Belichick or Red Auerbach.
Belichick or Red Auerbach? That's an interesting one. I would say Belichick because he had to coach through so many different eras with so many different teams. Auerbach, when he won all of those games all in a row, he had a handful of teams, and that was it, and they didn't change hands. And with free agency, it's the system that's the solution, and that's Belichick. My friend agrees, which means we're in the right place.
Very good. We're talking with Rick Horrow on the Business of Sports. We visit with Rick every Friday, and we love doing so. Tiger Woods back playing golf this week in Japan, but also some Ryder Cup news. Many Ryder Cup fans were left with a sour taste after last Wednesday's online ticket lottery system sold out in less than 50 minutes. Some people didn't even get a fair shot at tickets for next September at Whistling Straits in Kohler.
I had a lot of people that are ready to write their congressman irate over that. Listen, the bottom line is they made a mistake in allocating not enough Ryder Cup tickets for that virtual line. and people got into that virtual lobby, then the virtual line, and got into the virtual head of the line, that got virtually screwed. So,
They
you know,
did.
the problem with all of that is that you work out the bugs of all of that. I do a segment in Phoenix, and the guy was irate about it. He saw the same stuff that you did on my newsletter. Difference was he was at the front of the line. We got screwed by it. So here's what I take away on that. One is you ought to tweak it a little bit. Second is I understand it's a big deal, but you know what it means is that the Ryder Cup has become more and more and more and more popular, and it means more and more people want to see the Ryder Cup, especially when it's the Whistling Straits. That's going to be really a great event.
In Ryder Cup years, what's the tougher golf ticket? A Ryder Cup ticket or Augusta National?
Well, Augusta National is the king of tough tickets. You can't get one of those for less than $2,000 or $2,500 for any day. Practice round is my favorite because you get to take pictures and you get to see them skipping across 16 and all that kind of stuff. I think Ryder Cup is a big deal too. By the way, Ryder Cup's a great event because you can see the golfing idiots, the neophytes, the people who are there for the first time. You know who those people are? Those are the people who are waiting at 18 for all the foursomes or the matches to come through.
Right. And there's no action.
Yeah, and what's happened for the last hour and a half? I haven't seen the action. Those are the people that you realize they need some help.
And amazing what the Ryder Cup has grown into. In 2020, it will be at Whistling Straits at Kohler, Wisconsin. With the World Series in Washington, D.C., D.C. is their national's crazy. Boy, the Astros are working through on the field and off the field some tougher issues, Rick.
Well, on the field, off the field, they fire a young guy who probably was way over his skis, and they'll get through that. If I were the Astros, I'd get past that pretty quick because if you don't win tonight, then you can talk about everything off the field. You have a lot of time to do that, and so Greinke is a elixir, but so was Cole, and so is Verlander, and the Nationals, like baseball's wild card process, creates. When you struggle for the last month and barely get in and you're losing in the seventh inning and you come back and win a wild card game, you're really hot and you're sizzling. And so even though the Astros won all those games, the Nationals are playing the better baseball and they're the hottest team right now and they're finding themselves just at the right time. Good for Washington. It's not a generational town. It's not like your area where people go back 6 or 7 generations or any other community. This is a very unique and hotly divided town, and for the sake of people getting along, it would be nice not to politicize this. This is one of the few issues in Washington, I think we all agree, it's not politicized right now, and that would be good.
That would be good, and it's a very political town, but let's keep baseball politics free and just have hits, runs, and errors. And the Nationals doing what this 21st century has really provided for a lot of teams around sports, right there in D.C. with the Caps, in St. Louis with the Blues last spring. It's been a lot of first-time winners. The Cubs got theirs first time in a long time. The White Sox got their first time in a long time. The Saints. It's been a lot of teams and a lot of championship parades in towns that really had never been able to enjoy that.
I can't wait for the Grizzlies' first time. What do you think?
I'm ready. I hope I live to see it, Rick.
You're a young dude, man. You got a few years.
I hope I live to see it. But the baseball TV ratings aren't very good. But what people don't realize, I mean, they're compared to those Kurt Gowdy years when he would say, "Welcome to Fenway Park, Boston," and I thought that was the name of the city, Fenway Park, and the state was Boston. Growing up watching those games, Rick, I mean, they're compared to those NBC juggernaut ratings. They still win the night. They still are the top watch shows for all the sports for the month of October, but they're compared to those 70s and 80s numbers, and we're just never going there again.
Well, when you compare the 70s, 80s numbers anyway, anytime, even in football, you only had 4 or 5 choices. Now you have 900,000 choices, and you can also watch on different devices, and whether we like it or not, the way you measure who watches sports isn't realistic anymore because, my kids watch sports on iPhone. And, a lot of people will watch sports that way as a matter of choice, not because they don't have a TV. And so at the end of the day, you've got to have the rating system and the metrics match up with what reality is, and we don't have that yet.
And you, Rick, thank you for your time today. You enjoy your reunion. You got You got good sports ahead of you. Yes, I knew the Tough Jumbos nickname because if you'll remember, during the lengthy rain delays and rainouts of that 75 series between the Reds and the Red Sox, that's where Pete Rose and Sparky Anderson and the Reds went and worked out. Was over at Tufts.
Yeah, that's exactly right. I can't wait to see the Tough Jumbos. One of these days, well, next week we'll talk about it, and then I will tell you the story about the mascot. It doesn't end well, but we'll talk about it later.
We'll do it. Rick, thank you so much. Have a great weekend. Thank you.
All right, man. Okay, you too.
Love visiting with Rick Horrow from the NBC family of stations on the Business of Sports each and every Friday. And thank you for the nice texts. People that like listening to Rick this week in college football. We know where the Tigers are. They're in Tulsa, living on that Tulsa time. 6 o'clock kick tomorrow night against the Golden Hurricane. Tulsa improved. It was fun visiting with Bruce Howard, the voice of Tulsa, yesterday. They're improved, but you got to show improvement. A lot of places are going through this. You can talk about the underpinnings of the program. You can know as an insider it's getting better. To most fans, and this is fair, to the ticket buying public, you know how they see improvement? The left-hand column, and that is not unfair at all. In the top 10, Alabama, they host Arkansas tomorrow night at 6 o'clock, and that's without Tua Tagovailoa. The big game of college football tomorrow at 2:30, number 2 ranked in the Associated Press, LSU playing host to Auburn. Number 3, Ohio State, early tomorrow morning against Wisconsin. Wisconsin looking to rebound from that upset last week to Illinois. Number 4, Clemson tomorrow night at 6:30 at home against Boston College. Number 5, Oklahoma, 11 o'clock tomorrow morning at Kansas State. Any upset alert there, any upset watch at all for Kansas State against OU tomorrow in Manhattan? Probably not. Number 6, Penn State, 2:30 at Michigan State against Mark D'Antonio. That will be one of our picks on the Friday football forecast picks. Number 7, Florida, they have the open date. Number 8, Notre Dame under the lights tomorrow night at the Big House against Michigan. It feels like it matters more for Harbaugh, doesn't it? Brian Kelly can afford a loss more than Harbaugh can. Number 9, Auburn, as I said, they're in Baton Rouge against LSU. And Georgia, their open date this week, they get ready for the next play next week when Georgia will be back in action on November 2nd in the cocktail party against Florida. We know that very well around here because that feels like the main contestant for the Tigers hosting game day next week. The Chris Fowler Instagram post today, I think, got everybody very anxious with excitement for next weekend. That would be a great, at minimum, be the ABC feature game. We know it's going to be 2:30 or 6:30 next Saturday night. We don't know exactly which one, but we will know more into the late hours of Saturday night. Tigers have to win. That's the first priority. I was pulling for SMU last night to keep the drama up. I know they're battling with the Tigers in the Western Division of the AAC, but I wanted the drama for next week and the bigness for next week. And the SMU story, it's a lot of the reason. It's not entirely the reason that they're as interested in that game. They're interested next week for a couple of different reasons because of what the Tigers have done. But SMU back from the dead, and they closed out the win last night against Houston that we thought had mostly quit for the year. I don't know what Houston was really doing a lot of times last night offensively, but they made it work and they kept it close and they had a chance at the end to steal the game, but they were unable to against SMU. Plenty of good games this week in college football. Undefeated Minnesota, they play at home at 2:30 tomorrow against Maryland. Still undefeated Minnesota and still undefeated Appalachian State, as there are 10 undefeateds in college football. They play at South Alabama. South Alabama not very good. I thought that coach would do a better job there than he's done, but Appalachian State, out of the Sun Belt, they stay undefeated. And Boise State, after they finally lose, the hostage takers of college football, they lose, they're out, and they're wanting some upheaval in the American because now the American has the inside track to the Cotton Bowl bid for the non-Power 5 team. Dave Woloshin joins us now from Tulsa. Good afternoon, Dave. Y'all made it safe.
Yes, and that was a big topic of conversation on the airplane, just what you were saying. The American and Memphis, if they win tomorrow and win over SMU, would certainly be really in the catbird seat. The only thing I think that could mess that up would be Appalachian State.
No.
I know Jerry Palm said, I think on Middays with Greg and Eli, that he said a one-loss American team would still trump an undefeated App State. I don't see how, because they would have beaten both North Carolina and South Carolina, 2 Power 5 teams. But, he's a little bit better with these numbers than me. I'm not sure I would vote that way if I were a committee member, unless I was really given a persuasive argument that I'm really not aware of. But I still think South Carolina will take care of business, and therefore the American will be poised for that position, even with one loss, if they have a loss.
Don't you have to factor in, Dave, just the Plano eye test? And I think the Plano eye test, you look at it in North Carolina and South Carolina, while impressive for Appalachian State, and I know big wins for them, they're not that good.
But maybe not. South Carolina's got one big win already, and North Carolina almost knocked off everybody's consensus semifinal team in the playoffs.
Almost doesn't get it, though.
Yeah, but that's part of the eye test. If you played that close, isn't that part of the eye test?
Yeah, also part of the eye test. They lost 4 other times.
Yeah, that is true. So it's right there for Memphis, but they got to take that first step tomorrow. That's the critical thing.
It feels like the trap game of all time, though, looking back to getting the revenge for last year against Tulane and looking ahead possibly at the histrionics of next week.
I agree. This is the biggest trap game in history. I don't get that sense from players. They were focused today. They were in good moods. I think they know what is out there in front of them. By the way, I checked the weather forecast. It is so drizzly and dreary here, and there was a lot. I mean, you couldn't stand up on the airplane today on the way in. It was a 48-minute flight full of turbulence, but everybody was still focused. And, I did get the sense yesterday of confidence from Memphis coaches. More so, I don't know if confidence is the right word, and I think I brought this up yesterday. There wasn't that tension that I felt the 2 weeks before going to Philly for Temple and for that big game with Tulane. There was a little bit more of a relaxed sense, but every one of them, and in particular Norvell, made the point that Memphis could lose this game. This is not a given that they will win, and they're not looking at the 10.5-point spread, these players. They know, and we've talked about it. Tulsa has stuck and hung with a lot of really good teams this year. So it's not a given, but if they play the way they've been playing, even in the loss to Temple minus the turnovers, they should win this game.
Last night at FedEx Forum, the Tigers with a 33-point win over CBU. Most of the conversation not about that as much the 33-point win, but about who didn't play. There are a lot of things to be worried about. I'm not worried about James Wiseman. Are you, Dave?
I'm not. And people are going, well, he didn't play in the Bahamas. That was a shoulder injury. And he didn't play last night. I had gotten sort of a tip that he wasn't going to play. And the one thing that is concerning, if you're a Tiger fan, I really don't think it's a long-term problem. But they're not committing to a time to come back. Even James Wiseman in his tweet said soon, but he didn't say when. He didn't say Monday. He didn't say South Carolina State in November. He just said soon. And all Penny would say, the post-game questioning by me and by the regular media was, I hope so. I hope he's back. And that's it. So we don't know.
How did you think the team performed last night, as best you could tell, against a very undermanned CBU?
I thought they played poorly in the first half, and they really didn't seem to run an offense. And Penny said at in the post game that a lot of that was by design. He's got this thing he calls read and react, which they were doing well in practice but didn't carry over to the game, and that was the thing he said most. He wants to see what they do in practice carry over to games. He also thought they were really nervous in the first half. Second half, they weren't as nervous. He did give them a little more structured offense. They did turn up the intensity and start to press on defense, and then it was all over for CBU. Precious Achiuwa is a man. DJ Jeffries, better than I thought. If I'm looking at guys that I really thought were going to be outstanding, it was not a great night for Boogie Ellis, and he was the guy that opened up all those eyes in Pro Day, but he did not look to be that kind of a guy, at least last night, in the times that we saw him on the floor. And honestly, Lester Quinones didn't have the speed with which I thought he played. And maybe that was he's nervous and getting used to it. And this is one game out of,
that didn't count. There's still 0-0.
No, it didn't count. But I didn't think it was a great performance for him. And we didn't see enough of Damian Baugh because he got hurt. And hopefully he is back because he went through concussion protocol. And he did get hit hard. I mean, he and Jacob Lyons, the kid from Christian Brothers, they knocked heads, and he went down hard. And I saw the video on the news last night. Not only did he hit Jacob Lyons hard, but he bounced off that floor pretty hard too. So I don't know if he'll be ready for Monday. And you know that's a guy I know they really think is going to be really, really good. Lomax was outstanding. Harris didn't shoot the ball well, but he had 7 assists and only 1 turnover. I was impressed with his attitude and his distribution of the ball. So there was plenty of good things. Oh, and I love Lance Thomas. You know I love Lance Thomas. He only continues to show me how good a contributor I think he's going to be all year long.
Dave, on the road with the Tigers in Tulsa, when we come back, that will be one of our picks for our First National Bank and Trust Friday football forecast. Those picks coming up next. Dave in Tulsa. I'm in our Family Leisure studios. You're listening to Sports Time with Wolo and Stats under the watchful eye of Drew Barrett on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56, 87.7 and 96.1.
Search Sports 56 on Facebook and give us a like. And follow us on Twitter at Sports 56 WHBQ.
Bartlett Small Engine has been serving quality power equipment since 1970. They have a full line of power equipment, parts, and services for most makes and models. Bartlett Small Engines has the best brands in the power tool industry: Honda mowers, trimmers, and generators, Steel blowers, trimmers, and chainsaws, Echo trimmers, blowers, and chainsaws, plus quality products from Red Mat and Shindawa. And they're all American made. Bartlett Small Engine is your can-do store. 6780 Summer Avenue. Call 901-386-9779.
Get your gun, Nelly, and saddle up Penelope. It's Western Trading Days at Sunrise Buick GMC. Old-time trading prices on over 700 new Buicks and GMC trucks, and the Sunrise Used Car Corral has over 500 in stock. Branch managers have been told to cut prices to the bone, and remember, you can bring your car to Sunrise Service no matter where you bought it. If you're a good person with bad credit, SunriseMemphis.com will help you put one of your brand on these little fillies. Free hot dogs and Cokes at the Chuck Wagon. Western Trading Days going on now at all 3 Sunrise locations. We make it fun to buy a car again.
I Buy Houses, 901-406-1101. That's 901-406-1101. I Buy Houses. I Buy Houses will buy a house in any area, in any condition, and yes, it's guaranteed to close in 5 days. If you need to sell your home quickly, call 901-406-1101. If you've been through a divorce, if you lost your job, if you're tired of renters, I Buy Houses can get you your money quickly. I Buy Houses will buy your home in Shelby County, DeSoto County, Memphis, Bartlett, South Haven, Horn Lake, Olive Branch, anywhere and everywhere in between, in any condition. And yes, they're open 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. I Buy Houses, 901-406-1101. That's 901-406-1101. Grab that pen, 901-406-1101. I Buy Houses.
Hi folks, Rob Walker, Infiniti of Memphis, and we've got a new Infiniti crossover vehicle that has raised the standard of comparison to a new level. Imagine having both sports car performance and eco-friendly efficiency on demand, working together to empower every driving experience. The result of 20 years of engineering, QX50's award-winning variable compression turbo engine is the world's only engine of its kind. Like two engines in one, it delivers a combination of power and efficiency that is truly in a category all its own, and only Infiniti has it. You'll never sacrifice performance for the sake of efficiency again. And the new QX50 offers more horsepower than its Audi, Lexus, and Mercedes competitors. Add to that QX50's award-winning sumptuous interior, and you have the best combination of performance and comfort in the mid-size crossover segment.
Infiniti of Memphis, and online at infinityofmemphis.com.
This is Jason Mott. Join me November 9th downtown at the Column for our 8th annual Jason Mott Foundation Cornhole Challenge. Doors open at 6. For tickets and more information, click the events tab at jasonmottfoundation.org. Looking forward to seeing you out there, and let's strike out cancer.
Time for the Friday football forecast from First National Bank and Trust, a division of First National Bank of Eastern Arkansas. For real estate, commercial, ag, hunting, and recreational, contact them at fnbt.com or 901-498-5763.
Friday football forecast from First National Bank and Trust, a division of First National Bank of Eastern Arkansas. Real estate isn't something you purchase or develop or desire. It's something you appreciate, respect, and know. With real estate, there's no gray area. You either know it or you don't. First National Bank and Trust, a division of First National Bank of Eastern Arkansas, they've known it since their beginning in 1886. Clients depend on First National Bank because they know real estate. Brooks Winchester, Nick Sutton, and many more can assist you in your acquisition of that hunting land, farmland, a construction project. Let First National Bank and Trust make your dreams a reality. 775 Ridge Lake Boulevard, Suite 140 in Memphis, 901-498-5763 or fnbtmemphis.com. That's fnbtmemphis.com. For commercial real estate, residential construction, or recreational and agriculture financing, let First National Bank and Trust help you, a division of First National Bank of Eastern Arkansas, where I've had an account and been a friend my entire life. On the season, I am 37-42 overall. That is 20.
Oh my gosh!
That is 26.
Did you say 37-42?
I am 26-26 on college. NFL 11-16. Drew is 30-49.
Oh my gosh!
22-30 on college. 8-19 on the Shield.
Whew.
Dave Woloshin 28-51 on the year.
Oh, God, fire him. He should be fired. He's so bad.
19-33 in college, 9-18 in the NFL. This is where we all get hot, though, the rest of the way. You ready?
Well, I've lulled you just like I did in golf picks. So yes, I'm ready.
He's got us right where he wants us, doesn't he, Drew?
That's what he thinks.
That's what he thinks. I don't know how
he still thinks he honorably won.
I don't know how we let him win these, though.
I don't think mathematically we can't.
I don't think we can. I don't think we can skew it that much. First game we pick, it'll be LSU. They are a 10.5-point favorite at home at Tiger Stadium against Auburn. LSU won the last 9 in Baton Rouge in this series. Home team, 16 of the last 19. 10 of the last 15 of these games decided by 7 points or less. Last 3 decided by 11 points total. 10th time for Gus at Auburn to face number 1 or number 2. Auburn's 3-6 in the previous 9. Auburn, one of 10 FBS teams that haven't allowed more than 24 points in a game. Cal, Clemson, Georgia, Iowa, Ohio State, Penn State, San Diego State, UAB, and Wisconsin, the others. Joe Burrow leads the nation with 29 passing touchdowns. LSU, they've scored points on 43 consecutive red zone trips. When they get in the red zone, they score points. LSU, 10.5-point favorite. Heisman Trophy voter you are. We talked about it earlier. Dave, I think Joe Burrow is the leader in the polls right now. Do you think that? And what's your pick on LSU and Auburn with LSU 10.5-point favorite?
Well, that is so funny because when I sent you my picks earlier, I wrote on there, LSU will win, LSU will cover, and Joe Burrow takes control of the Heisman race.
Drew?
I'm sticking with LSU. Joe Burrow's looking unstoppable right now, and that LSU defense is going to do something to Bo Nix. Give me LSU to cover and win.
Tough spot for a true freshman to go into, but I'm going to take the points in Auburn. I'm going to take the 10.5. LSU wins the game 24-21, but I take the Auburn Tigers to win. Next game, Penn State laying 6.5 at Michigan State, 15 straight winning seasons for Penn State. That's something with going through all that controversy that they did go through to have 15 straight winning seasons. Penn State third nationally in defense. Mark D'Antonio winningest coach ever at Michigan State. Penn State winners of 26 of the last 31 against Big Ten opponents. Penn State, they've won 29 of their last 32 home games. Penn State has led 82.8% of plays this season. Penn State 6.5-point favorite over Michigan State. Dave, your pick.
I think there has been a bunch of defections and controversy in East Lansing, Michigan, even though it's there. And I don't think this will be a runaway, but I'm only giving away 6.5. I think Penn State wins by a touchdown. I think Penn State wins. I think Penn State covers.
I'm going to take Penn State. I'm going to take Michigan State plus the points to cover against Penn State. Drew?
I'm taking Michigan State straight up. This just feels like one of those weird Big Ten games where Michigan State always seems to wreck the party for somebody. And Penn State, while they are sitting at sixth in the country right now, it just seems like James Franklin always has one of those games around this time of the season where his teams just collapse, and I'm thinking that's this week. Give me Michigan State straight up.
Dave in Tulsa.
This is where I make my move, boys. You both went the other way.
You're not making that big a move. Dave in Tulsa for the Tigers at Tulsa. Tigers a 10.5-point favorite over TU, over the Golden Hurricane. Tigers Bowl eligible for a sixth straight year. Brady White, fifth quarterback to go over 5,000 yards. Joey Magnifico was the second tight end to go over 1,000 yards last week. Mike Norvell, he tied Coach Murphy with 32 wins in their first 46 games at the University of Memphis. That's the fastest two ever to do that at the University of Memphis. And next week, Dave, if game day is here and Lee Corso's here, they will tell the story repeatedly of Lee Corso for Louisville facing Coach Murphy and way behind late in the game and literally was waving the white towel at the other sideline at Coach Murphy. And after the game, questioned about it. He said, I was trying to get him to let up on us. So that they had us. They were pounding us. The Tigers will be playing Tulsa tomorrow. Homecoming for Tulsa. We mentioned the other day with Bruce Howard, Zach Smith, fourth in the AAC in passing yards. Tulsa's won 12 of the last 17 homecoming games when they've had homecoming on their campus in Tulsa. That's been since 2002. Tigers, 10.5-point favorite. Tigers big, early, and often. 31-13, Tigers win.
I know how much is on the line here. I mean, you win this, and it's Fowler and Herb Street, and we all saw the Chris Fowler video, I'm sure. If they win, it keeps the chance alive of Lee Corso coming, and I've heard that story a million times. I hope he doesn't repeat it too many times. I think Memphis will win this game. I'm not sure because Tulsa hung around so long, and 10.5 is a lot. I think it's going to be more along the lines of 35-28. Tigers win, Tulsa covers.
Drew?
Tigers are clicking on all cylinders after last week's big win against Tulane. Give me the Tigers, and I think they win by 21+, so definitely give me the 10.5.
I got a good feeling about it, too. Michigan tomorrow night, big game on NBC tomorrow night. Michigan, it's -1.5. Michigan, they lead the all-time series 24-18-1, 2 in a row for Notre Dame in this series. 729 winning percentage at Michigan for Jim Harbaugh, and he's the guy in trouble. 729 winning percentage, 4-3 versus Notre Dame as a player and a coach. Some of those games as head coach at Stanford. 9 touchdowns, 4 interceptions on the season for Shea Patterson. These two teams first played in 1887, and no, I wasn't there, nor was Dave. Michigan -1.5. Michigan with the win. Harbaugh almost has to. He has to have this game. Michigan wins 27-20. Dave?
Michigan had a win last week, too, and they didn't. They're in turmoil. You're going to Notre Dame, ladies and gentlemen. The Golden Dome. Are you serious? And they're getting about a point and a half. I think Notre Dame wins in a very close game by a field goal. They win straight up.
No, Dave, at the Big House. It's at Michigan.
Oh, my goodness. I thought it was at Notre Dame.
No.
Right,
Does that affect your pick?
No. I'll change to Michigan.
Drew?
I'm with Dave. Wrong team favored. Give me Notre Dame.
So, Dave, you take Michigan, correct?
No. I'm taking Michigan because it's at home.
Okay, and you take Notre Dame.
I'm taking Notre Dame. Wrong team favored. Jim Harbaugh can't beat anybody in the top 10 to save his life, and it's not going to happen this week.
It's a big one for Harbaugh. It would be his third loss of the year, and the critics really would come out. All right, college football lock time. Dave, you first.
There is a game in Philly, and I think Temple is getting 10.5 against UCF. I think the Knights are going to win the game. I don't think they're going to win by 11 points. I like Temple to get close in this game. Give me the Owls with those points.
Temple plus the 10.5 over UCF. I tried them last week. I'm going to try them one more time. Give me Mizzou laying the 10.5 over Kentucky. Drew?
I'm not following you on the Mizzou path again this week. I'm going to the other side of the state. I'm staying in the SEC, though. Give me South Carolina minus 4.5 in Knoxville.
South Carolina minus 4.5 over Tennessee. College football shock time. Drew, you first.
I'm taking probably one of the biggest spreads of the weekend, and I think it's easy money because Clemson, they haven't beaten anybody by 34.5 points, even gotten close to that. And BC, they played great. Their running back, Allen, he's close to 1,000 yards, so he'll get to that 1,000-yard mark this weekend. Give me Boston College plus 34.5 at Clemson.
Plus 34.5 over Clemson. Dave, your college football shock.
I go the opposite of what you did. I like Kentucky getting 10.5 at home. Missouri's not been very good on the road. Look at Vandy. Look at Wyoming. Yeah. Give me Kentucky.
You know, we did this last week. My college football shock is going to be Oppo, you, Drew. I'm going to take Tennessee plus the 4.5. Tennessee wins the game straight up in an ugly game, 17-14. And I get you on your lock, and I get Dave on his. So I distance from the y'all on the locks and shocks in college football. Noon on Sunday, NFL first pick. I'll be there. Titans and Tampa Bay. Titans 2.5-point favorite over the Buccaneers. Jameis Winston and Marcus Mariota. It was supposed to be. Instead, I'm going to see Jameis Winston against Ryan Tannehill. Titans tied a franchise record by not allowing an opponent to score more than 20 points during their first 7 games. Last time they matched that was in 2000. 400 yards last time out for Jameis, but 7 turnovers for the Buccaneers. I take the Titans. If the Titans are involved, you know it's going to be close. They're 2.5-point favorite. They win by 4, 21-17. Dave?
I'm going with Winston. Jameis Winston needs to play well. It looked like he might be starting to get in a little groove at the end of the game last week. I like Tampa giving me the 2.5.
Drew?
Never thought I'd say this, but I think I'm going to take Ryan Tannehill and over Jameis Winston in the quarterback battle this week. Give me the Titans. They win by 3, barely cover.
Boy, it's not a lot to choose from there at quarterback. San Francisco, Dave's 49ers at 3 o'clock, 3:05 on Sunday. They are 3.5-point favorite over Carolina. 21st meeting all time. They met once in an NFC championship game. 4 straight wins with Kyle Allen at quarterback this year for the Panthers. Carolina 30th in rushing defense. We know the 49ers run it well. Dave, your pick?
I am going to go with my guy, Jimmy G. Are you kidding me?
Jimmy Garoppolo.
3.5. Give me the Niners.
Drew?
I'm with Dave on this one. Jimmy G, I think you said he's, 18-2 as a starting quarterback? Make it 19-2. Give me the Niners.
I'm going to stay with the Kyle Allen Magic. Panthers win straight up. I don't need the 3.5. I'll take them, though. Panthers win straight up. NFL lock for me, my lock's going to be the Eagles. Dave, your lock.
My lock is Detroit, giving away 7.5 at home against the Giants. They are due for a big win. They're too good to be this way. Give me Detroit.
Eagles over Buffalo for me. Your NFL lock, Drew.
I've got the Lions as well, but I got them at minus 6.5.
It's 7.5.
It's 7.5? It was okay. Okay. Well, I'll take him at -7.5. Give me Lions over Giants.
So you match Dave on that one.
Yes.
Your NFL shock, Drew.
I'm gonna take Philly +2.5 at Buffalo for my shock.
So you're going against my lock.
Did you take Buffalo?
No, I took Philly. That was my NFL lock. You're going with it with your shock.
Yes, because I get the 2.5.
I got you, Dave.
I'm doing the same exact thing. I like Philadelphia.
Y'all can't catch me this way.
Yeah.
In my NFL shock, I'm going to take the Jets plus the points over Jacksonville. It's 6.5. They simply cannot play as badly as they played Monday night, can they?
I don't think so. That was awful.
I don't think they can. Our Friday football forecast brought to you every Friday by First National Bank and Trust, a division of First National Bank of Eastern Arkansas for real estate, commercial, ag, hunting, and recreational. Contact them at fnbt.com or call them at 901-498-5763. First National Bank and Trust, a division of First National Bank of Eastern Arkansas.
You know, we landed in Tulsa today, and we're driving from the airport, and I'm seeing a barbecue place here, and I'm seeing a barbecue place over here on another billboard. And, you know, I'm going, it's brisket. They're talking brisket. That's what they're talking about. Real barbecue? Come on. But I must say the brisket at the Germantown Commissary is pretty good, too. But and they can compete with the barbecue here, but they can't compete with the barbecue that the Germantown Commissary has when it comes to shoulder or ribs. They aren't even in the same ballpark. They really aren't. And we got two of them now. We got two Germantown Commissaries with party packs. If you're on your way to high school football tonight and you're looking for a little tailgating, or maybe because it's wet outside, you don't want to do that. You want to go in. Plenty of room at the new Germantown Commissary. Ribs, barbecue, the same deviled eggs, anything you want, tamales, they got it. All you got to do is get there, and that is Poplar and Houston Levy. This is the newest one. They still have the little quaint one in Germantown with the telephone pole in the in the parking lot, and everybody loves the atmosphere in there. It's still great. But if you want to move, you got to drive through at the new place. And 3 times the seating and a little patio. I'm not recommending that one tonight. But it is really a great place to go. The new defensive coordinator, Adam Fuller, had his family in town last week. I recommended it. When I went to see him yesterday, he was thanking me, patting me on the back. Just so happy to find such a great barbecue place near him. And we all love it. And now we've got 2 Germantown barbecues, the original in Germantown, now the newest one in Collierville.
Collierville Commissary and the Germantown Commissary. Dave in Tulsa, when we come back, we wrap it up with Taco Bell Crunch Time. That's next. You're listening to Sports Time on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56, 87.7 and 96.1.
Get happy with Johnny Radio's Happy Hour. Weekday afternoons from 1 till 3 on Sports 56, 96.1 and 87.7.
Hi, this is John Conway with Conway Services. Did you notice your water heater not heating as well last winter? During the cold winter months, the groundwater is colder and requires more energy to heat the water, and sometimes old, inefficient tanked water heaters just can't keep up. It may be time for a tankless water heater from Conway Services that never runs out of hot water. Conway Services is making now the perfect time for a new tankless water heater with 24 months to pay, interest-free. Or I'll pay you $250 for that old tanked water heater. Plus, these energy-saving models only heat the water you use, saving you money on your gas bill every month. And no more worrying about that tank bursting in your attic either. So call Conway Services, the Mid-South's premier tankless water heater professionals at 384-3511. That's 384-3511. And the first 30 callers with a 10-year-old water heater will come out and inspect it absolutely free.
Call 384-3511. Conway Services. Call Conway today.
Your University of Memphis women's soccer team is ranked in the top 10 in the nation and has been dominating opponents on both ends of the field. We'll attempt to break the all-time Memphis soccer attendance record on Sunday, October 27th at 1 p.m. at the Tigers Soccer Complex on the Park Avenue campus. So bring the whole crew and enjoy an afternoon of Memphis soccer, along with incredible family-friendly concession prices, including dollar hot dogs. Be a part of a record crowd and support Memphis women's soccer on Sunday, October 27th at 1 p.m. Parking and admission are free.
Hi there, Saver. Looking for a Medicare plan to help you save on more than just prescriptions? Medicare Advantage plans may offer prescription drug, medical, and hospital coverage. Walgreens is a preferred network pharmacy with many Medicare Advantage plans, including United Healthcare. So when you enroll in a plan with Walgreens as your preferred pharmacy, you know you're saving smartly. Walgreens, trusted since 1901. Other plans may be accepted.
I'm here with the great Pat Donahue from the Rendezvous Restaurant Shipping Department.
Thanks, Brett. We've been shipping our ribs all over the country now for decades from our USDA-inspected shipping kitchen in the Pinch District. We hand-cook our ribs in pits that Mr. Charlie built over charcoal, just like they do at the restaurant.
What comes in a rib box?
We could do pork shoulder, we could do ribs, our sauce, seasoning, baked beans, coleslaw. We'll even throw in Pancho's cheese dip with our nacho boxes. We also put a bag of Rendezvous seasoned popcorn, heating instructions, some chef hats, some wet naps. We ship our ribs overnight, exclusively FedEx. And we don't ever want to use styrofoam, so we use corrugated cardboard, actually 2 boxes that fit nice together, so the ribs get to you, your loved ones, or your clients in a safe, wholesome manner.
Are y'all gearing up at the Rendezvous for the holiday season?
We've got ribs, shoulders, nacho boxes. We're stacking them high. The elves are working hard getting ready for the Christmas season. You can go to www.hogsfly.com or give us a call at 1-888-464-7359.
Charlie Burgos' Rendezvous Restaurant in the alley since 1948.
Welcome back to Sports Time with Wolo and Stats. This hour of Sports Time is brought to you by DeSoto Auto Sales. Here once again are Dave Woloshin and Brad Norsworthy.
5 seconds left in the game. Do you believe in miracles? Yes!
This is for all the biggest crunch time.
You are looking live. It's crunch time. In your life have you seen anything like that?
We'll take questions again for the student athletes at this time, please.
He's a professional. He's pretty classy for his age.
In the crunch time, that's the frustrating part.
Little Penny could make some appearances this year.
Okay, I'm not huge into stats.
Has it always been this way?
It's crunch time, so I got a different mind state.
What's happening, big dog? How you doing?
Is this thing working?
Immediately when the buzzer sounds, he lets out this shriek.
He throw those ears forward. He was in stroke mode.
It's obviously crunch time.
Time for Taco Bell Crunch Time. Taco Bell, home of the crispy tortilla chips, topped with a double portion of either seasoned beef or shredded chicken, plus refried beans, nacho cheese sauce, reduced fat sour cream, guacamole, and a 3-cheese blend. Nachos Bel Grande, heaping portion of chips, topped with ground beef, tomatoes, beans, nacho cheese sauce, and a dollop of sour cream. Taco Bell, home to great food you get on your way home real fast, and they bring you crunch time every day. I've learned today that the Grizzlies, they have a chance tonight against the Bulls, and they've got a chance Sunday against the Nets. I think tonight's easier. Sunday, Kyrie Irving will be much tougher than tonight against the Bulls. Thaddeus Young, 17 on Wednesday night for the Bulls. His homecoming tonight, that was in a 1-point loss to Charlotte. Grizzlies have a chance tonight in the home opener to start the 2019-2020 season at home. Dave, what'd you learn?
I learned today that DraftKings put out their regular season win totals. Gonzaga, number 1, they're going to win 27.5 games. Memphis was next at 26.5. They like the Tigers that much. Duke and Michigan State, 25.5. Kentucky, North Carolina, and Villanova at 24.5.
We'll have to remember that when we do our picks. I just cannot find many losses on that schedule. Could have done without. It's almost no way the SEC has enough teams for their bowl inventory. APR eligible, yeah, I know that's a route for some teams. Really, no thanks for me. You can't win 6. I just don't know if you need to be going to a bowl. State and A&M tomorrow, South Carolina and Tennessee tomorrow. Feels like elimination games. Tennessee with a third different starting quarterback. J.T. Shrout could be in at quarterback for Tennessee. State and College Station versus, I think, a very beatable Texas A&M team. Dave, what is it you could have done without?
I could have done without learning that Andrew Bell, who I really come to like, who's been the general manager of 901 FC, and the organization are parting ways. Not really a reason given. They wished Andrew the best of luck. I thought with the crowds they drew and the personnel moves that he made at the end of the year to get them so close in this first season to almost making the playoffs, it's really surprising and sad. But Andrew Bell, I wish you the very best.
Yeah, I don't know any background on that either. Big game Sunday afternoon. We want to remind our listeners about the Tigers women's soccer team. They won again last night against SMU. They play again on Sunday. Dave, you have a great weekend. I know you'll have a late Saturday night, but we will see you again on Monday.
You got it. Look forward to it.
You got it, Dave. On the road with the Tigers in Tulsa. Looking forward to a lot this weekend. Where are you watching the Tiger game tomorrow? Where and how are you watching it? Can you tell over the airwaves?
Yeah, I will be having some adult beverages, and I think right now the plan is I'll be at Flying Saucer downtown.
That's allowed. You're an adult. That's very allowed.
I think that's what I'm going to be.
And you'll be responsible. I know.
And I live downtown, so I don't even have to drive.
You can walk. A lot to keep an eye on this weekend. Will this be the end of baseball? When we're back on Monday, will baseball be in the history books once again with the 2019 season ending and the beginning of DC's biggest party since Ovechkin ruled the world? They can't
He's sober. He's got to be sober now, right?
They can't out-party him, can they?
No.
What a celebration they had when the Caps won. Would it match it for the Nats? Grizz and Bulls tonight, Grizz and Nets on Sunday, Tigers in Tulsa tomorrow night, with the fear of everyone of the trap game and maybe setting up next weekend's fun. Must win for State and Tennessee when they play, and for State and for UT against A&M, and in South Carolina for the Tennessee-South Carolina game, rather. Mac Jones at quarterback for Bama against Arkansas. Arkansas, can it get worse for them after that last week and the fake punt? I bet they won't call a fake punt tomorrow.
I bet they won't, because that was the ugliest two-handed anything that I've ever seen in my life.
It made everything, too. It made Come On Man on Monday Night Football. Did you know that?
Yeah, I did.
Oh, it will live forever. Auburn and LSU, the game of the week, I think, in the SEC for sure at Tiger Stadium. Michigan and Notre Dame with big stakes for Jim Harbaugh on the line. NFL on Sunday. Saints, one more game without Drew Brees. Kyle Allen against Jimmy Garoppolo. We made that pick. And in Boston, or in Foxborough, Baker Mayfield against TB12. Sunday night, the Packers and the Chiefs in a rematch of Super Bowl I. They've only played 11 times since the Super Bowl I meeting. That's a long time ago for them to play so few times.
That is crazy. And you think about they're not the only matchup. I know I saw a couple of weeks ago two teams that only played, that had been in the league at least 40 years each, had only played like 3 times.
Yeah, they used to be a lot bigger spread, and they did something with the schedule to make everybody run into each other more often. But it's like the Chiefs and the Packers haven't even been in the same league, and they weren't in Super Bowl I. Kansas City leads 7-4-1. Do we see Mahomes?
No, he's out. Completely ruled out, which is the way it should be. The man dislocated his knee. Give him a week.
If the Saints win again, how much keep Teddy Bridgewater in there talk will it be?
Unfortunately, there's going to be about 30% of crazy people, but once that are going to say that, and they're absolutely crazy. Once Drew Brees is ready, bring him back in.
Is the same true for Cam Newton and Kyle Allen?
No, because Cam Newton's not Drew Brees. Kyle Allen's hot hand.
And that's simply the answer. He's not as good as Drew Brees. That is simply the answer. He's not. He's really good, and he has been MVP, but he is not as good as Drew Brees. We've had a fun week. We want you back with us on Monday. Everybody have a safe weekend. If you're going to high school football or the Grizzlies tonight, prepare for the rain, prepare for the weather, and be safe in doing it. For Dave, for Drew, I'm Brett. Everybody have a great weekend. We're back with you Monday at 3 o'clock. Talk to you then.
Hi there, Saver. Looking for a Medicare plan to help you save on more than just prescriptions? Medicare Advantage plans may offer prescription drug, medical, and hospital coverage. Walgreens is a preferred network pharmacy with many Medicare Advantage plans, including United Healthcare. So when you enroll in a plan with Walgreens as your preferred pharmacy, you know you're saving smartly. Walgreens, trusted since 1901. Other plans may be accepted.
Mid-South Power Distributors is your source for all things diesel. For more than 26 years, they've supplied all the diesel parts that you need. From simple repairs to complete overhauls, they have it all. Whether it's heavy, medium, light duty, agricultural, marine, or off-road, Mid-South Power is the leading source for all things diesel. Fuel injection, turbochargers, engine parts, alternators, starters, and brakes, they can supply all the parts and services you need. Stop in today at 3250 Mill Branch Road in Memphis or call 901-396-0710.
This This is a cow whose milk became everyone's favorite cheese at the craft fair. But cheese only lasts so long. The impression a small business makes needs to last much longer. And now Vistaprint is introducing free shipping on all business cards in any quantity. Choose from hundreds of fresh designs tailored to your type of company, or upload your own. The choice is yours. The time is now. For a limited time only, get free shipping on all business cards in any quantity with promo code 9393. That's promo code 9393 at Vistaprint.com. Vistaprint. Own the now.
Hey Tiger fans, this is John Stacy of the Blue and Gray Show. You can hear Drew Barrett and I talk Tigers with Tigers every Sunday at 5 right here on Sports 66, 96.1, and 87.7. Drew, who do we got in the studio with us this week?
This week on the show, John and I are joined in studio by former University of Memphis Tigers wide receiver Joe Craig as we break down the Tulsa game and get you ready for the big AAC matchup against SMU.
Thanks, Drew. We'll be here Sunday on Sports 56, 96.1, and 87.7. The Blue and Gray Show, where we talk Tigers with Tigers.
We are Sports 56 WHBQ Memphis, WIVG FM Tunica Memphis, and WPG FM